Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Presently, we are here in your past, speaking to you in our future. It boggles the mind. You are tuning in to a special spin off episode of the Brothers from Another Mothership podcast, BFAM Classified. This is outside our normal monthly video game podcast from four brothers from other mothers, which may or may not involve extraterrestrial life. And if you could rate the show 5 stars on your podcast platform of choice, we greatly appreciate it. Today's classified file is on Clair Obscur Expedition 33. We're doing a spoiler cast, y'all. I am Cwagmire, also known as the Quaggy King of the Xenobabes, and I got two of my brothers here. Ron, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, friend. But you left off a few of your names. You also forgot the Councilman, the Conductor, Georgia Sweet Peach. So make sure you start adding those onto the show.
That's right.
Well, trying our best to not have too long of an intro, but you know what? Maybe that's just what we need to do. It's just I need to just go through
get all those titles
every alias
everybody's
I can.
nicknames. Everyone's nicknames. Ron's gonna do it. Roll Bareness. What else we got?
Fake Matt.
Canadian Gun Show.
Do them all.
Fake Matt. Jesus.
Yeah. And
You said it.
got the Capcom board member himself, Matt. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. It's exciting. I think this is the universe's way of saying you need to take your brain off of Resident Evil. It's time to think about some other video games, some other things and aspects of life, because I've been obsessed for the last few weeks. You guess?
I don't really want to, but I guess.
In time, you can talk more Resident Evil.
Okay.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. Come on.
Well, I'm glad that you're here too. But we do have a special guest here, and want to introduce him as well. Blackwyvere. Samit, how are you doing today, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
Samit's in the house.
So glad to have you here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
It's awesome. All right, y'all. Well, like I said, we are here to do a spoiler cast on Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Very excited to talk to y'all about this game today. Did kind of have some topics that I was kind of liking to think to do spoiler free, and then we'll get to a part where I'll do my infamous warning to give you plenty of time to back out if you haven't had a chance to play this game yet. But if you guys are good with that, we can kind of start the beginning spoiler free. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it if you guys are okay with it. Kind of the first topic I had, did y'all jump in day one or close to day one, or did you kind of play it later on? Ron, when did you jump in, man?
I had already had it pre-ordered.
Pretty much so you basically were as day one as you could.
And I don't pre-order digital titles. I don't pre-order digital titles, but when they showed that at the Xbox conference that summer before release, I don't know, man. It was something about that game immediately that was just like, I think I'm going to be in for this. So when pre-orders went live on PlayStation, I went ahead and got it. I think at the time, I think Sony had it for like 10 or 15% off. Didn't matter. I would have got it at full price anyway. But went ahead and pre-ordered. And then I think I was in the middle of finishing up Trails Through Daybreak when it came out. So as soon as I finished Daybreak, I jumped into that pretty much. So it was only like a few days after release, maybe about a week after it released.
Nice. And Matt, I believe you kind of came in a little bit later, but remind me, when did you jump in?
Yeah, I jumped in almost a year later, or if anything, more than that, or close to that. But funny story, I to this day, even I finished the game, friends. I haven't actually seen the trailer. I actually have never ever seen it.
Wow.
Yeah. I only heard about it through, Discord, Blue Sky, people talking about it. But because of how highly regarded it was, I'm like, I don't need to see trailers. People are just saying like, you got to play it. And I really wanted to say, like, just let me go in full experience, fresh. So and it's funny just because you mentioned it, because logically, well, now that I finished the game, I should have gone back to see the trailer, but I haven't seen it. So, Ron, paint me a picture, because I feel like it's really hard for video games today especially brand new IP from new developers, especially, like, to sell you on a new video game when, like, listen, PS Plus, like Nintendo Switch Online, like there's so many games, but this trailer sold you that you pre-ordered, because you normally don't.
I don't pre-order digital. Yeah, there's no point to. But
paint me a picture.
I had to show support. So I already know why you didn't watch it, because it was the Xbox conference, And we know that you have that Xbox spite in you, so it's okay. But
for spite.
I think that was probably the standout of the show for me. So that's probably the reason why it did stand out. Because I mean, that Xbox show was good, but it had its usual suspects. But it was something about this one where they kind of sell you on the whole gamage thing. The artwork was there, the music was there, and
the music was there. Okay.
They show enough of the battle system to kind of like this isn't your typical turn based. So you pretty much get a taste of what the game is going to be for the most part on the surface in this trailer. They did a real good job of teasing like, okay, this seems very, very weird, but it's beautiful. The music, turn-based, so you do it as an RPG right from the get-go. And it's like when that trailer came out, it's like all of a sudden everybody started talking about the game. And then that's when you kind of started hearing about the studio and where like the guy who founded the studio, he came from Ubisoft. So it was like kind of like a very good like push behind it after that Xbox showing. So you should go back and watch the trailer though. I think you'll be surprised by like how good that trailer really did set the game up. Of course, they kept it surface level. They didn't show all the stuff that you really get into, but it was enough to sit there and tease you like, yeah, I might need to keep an eye on this.
I was gonna say like, and we'll talk about it later. Like, but my personal favorite thing about the game is the combat, and it's just me personally. Like, I always find it very hard for any video game trailer to kind of really capture how fun combat can be because it's different from actually playing.
Yeah,
and the combat in Clair Obscur is phenomenal. I'm very curious. Yeah, after this, I'm gonna hop on that trailer. I mean, I'll let everybody know if I watch this trailer. Would it have sold me on day one? I'm very curious now because
I think it would have. I mean, because anytime that you have a trailer for any RPG, the turn-based combat is not going to be what usually sells people. I mean, that's
right.
But there was enough going on in that trailer where you was like, okay, this is not just regular turn-based. They were showing the parrying, they were showing the dodge. So it's kind of like, okay, there's a little bit more to this than just picking an action. You wait for that turn, and then you wait again. So yeah, I think if you had watched it, I think you probably would have been close to day one on it. I think.
I'll go back and watch it because I'm trying to imagine like if they got like good editing with like the music, flashes of the combat, and if they really tease out this incredible story without giving too much away, I think it would have caught my eye. Maybe not day one, but I think it would have at least caught my interest. But yeah, I did not play for almost. I think I played in the fall of 2025, and I think I rolled credits in December. So maybe not a year. Bad. When did the game come? When did the game come out?
That summer. It came out that summer.
It's like April.
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah, so not too far. Like what, 5-6 months? So yeah.
Yeah, like 5-6 months. Okay, so not too bad. But I can't remember what I was playing at that time. It might have been Ragnarok, or I just had my mind made up in terms of like what the backlog is, what games are going to be doing in 2025, and I was like, I wasn't really interested in picking up new games on day one unless it's something that I'm very familiar with. But everybody kept talking about it on the internet, all this high praise, and I'm like, all right, I'll get it eventually. And then, me being a physical collector, I was like, I better hop on this before, they run out of copies. Because I remember even like the standard edition, like physically, was a little bit hard to come by. I think you can get it now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you can get it now, but initially, I think they shipped it small because they weren't too sure about like how it was going to do, like physical wise. But then it went, caught on fire, and then there you go.
It was very hard to get. I remember because I follow certain people on Blue Sky when they say like, "Hey, it's back," that means it's very hard to get. And I was like, "Oh, this game must be quite popular." Anyways, being a physical collector, I think there was like a Amazon Canada edition with the steelbook. I was like, just let me buy it. Let me just get it just in case. Don't know when I'm playing it, but I bought it. So yeah, not day one, but now that I think about it, yeah, not as far away as at least it felt like it was very far away because I think everyone was just talking about it in the summer, and then the Game Awards was coming up, and I was like, oh, I'm missing
everybody
out
was playing it during the summer also. That's probably the reason why too. So
that's it. Really, yeah. FOMO was pretty hard, but I wanted to stay the course, but. So, I mean, you're one of them. You played in the summer, right?
Yeah, I played the game in August, September. And much like you, actually, I think I saw clips of the trailer, but the hype really got me. But what discouraged me was the combat. I said, I don't play turn-based.
Oh.
And I said, this is not a game for me. This is not a game for me. And then I remember it being Ron, Cwaggy, and then Matt from PSG. They kept saying, no, you have to play this. This is a different style of combat. And I was still on the fence. I was like, I don't really spend that kind of money. And like you said, it was a bit hard. So I said, you know what, let me actually reach out. So I went to my city library, got the game, borrowed the game,
Okay.
because there was no demo available on our
Oh.
PlayStation. So I bought the game for the library, played for about a week. I'm like, actually, this is really good. So I bought my own copy. So I returned
Nice.
it.
Good man.
For a few
Good
weeks. So I
man.
returned the copy, bought the game. I'm like, this is actually money well spent. And
Yeah.
like you, the combat gameplay was the highlight for me more over everything else.
Library for the win. I'm very surprised. Like here, it's really hard to get new releases. Like it's like a waiting list. Old games you can get, but
Yeah,
you like
so
that. That's pretty
I
good,
did
man.
wait for a few, I think maybe a couple of months, but then it was
Okay,
fine.
fair.
Like I wasn't really fully keen to play it as well, so I was like, I'm happy to just wait along for it as opposed to
Right.
get a day one.
It was hard to look. Samit he's underselling how hard it was to get him to sell him on the combat. Because I remember
was he
I told him,
reluctant?
I was just like,
Oh, was he?
trust me on this.
Oh,
just,
yeah, eh?
just play it. And he was like, Ron, this combat is not my thing. I was just
Oh,
like,
interesting. I didn't know that.
Trust.
I played Metaphor Refantasio, the demo, I think about 6-8 months prior to that, and I just got
Okay.
bored with that. I played that, I'm like, oh, this is definitely not a game for me.
Oh.
This is so I was thinking it's the same, and then Ron's like, no, you gotta play it. I'm like, I don't know, I'm not convinced. I don't know.
It was so hard to convince him. But it worked out. It worked out, though.
Nice. Well, that might be a good segue into just kind of like your overall thoughts. So, Samit, you mentioned that you're not really that into turn-based, but you know this one did kind of win you over, though, right?
Oh, totally. I think
Yeah.
it's in the middle. I think, like all of you explained, I think it's more than just turn-based. There's that dodge and parry system, and I love the parry system. And I think
Yeah.
this comes back to a conversation Matt and I were having last week, where I'm actually intrigued by puzzles. So to me, the combat actually was a bit of a puzzle itself.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
it doesn't necessarily the same style of play wouldn't work with every boss, with every character that you play with. And I think we'll get more into that later. But yeah, so to me that was actually what was intriguing. Just because a parry works with one enemy a certain time, you got to watch out for the cues as well, whether it's audio or visual. Yeah. So to me, that was actually what grabbed me and pulled me in.
Nice. Yeah, I'm kind of hit or miss myself with turn-based combat. Like I really enjoy Dragon Quest XI, which is pretty standard turn-based combat, but Bravely Default 2, I was just praying for that game to finally end. So
Damn.
sorry. Yeah, I just use any chance I can to give Bravely Default 2 some shade.
Oh, that's
But,
great. I have that on the wheel, so I'm a little,
Nah, take it off. Take it off. Save your time.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Not
no,
even give it
not
a
worth
chance.
It.
He already
worth
owns
it.
the game.
Oh,
No.
He owns it. Give him just
well.
a little taste.
Hey,
I
I'm
did
just
get it
trying
on
to
the
help
cheap,
him out.
though. I did get it on the
I
cheap,
mean-
so.
It'd be one of those things if it was like a 6-hour experience. I'm like, yeah, just go ahead and play it. But it's like 60, so yeah, save your time. But yeah, I'm kind of similar to me that turn-based is not my favorite. Like the fact that there is some like active components, like in terms of either dodging or parrying, is like totally the reason why I fell in love with the combat too. I think just in general, I kind of prefer more of an active type combat. Like I've mentioned before that I really like. Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, just something that you're just a little bit more involved than your turn-based combat. But I agree, like the combat really, really won me over. I'm hoping that other, franchises or other type of RPGs kind of look at what Clair Obscur did, not just outright copy it, but just use some inspiration because I think there's a lot to be inspired from with Clair Obscur's combat for sure.
I can copy it. I'm okay with it. Give me more.
Just
It's fine.
flat out copy it. Okay. Yeah.
That's fine. Just do it. Everybody copies each other now. Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
I
It's
mean,
a form
true.
of flattery.
Yeah, Square Enix
See?
did, Square Enix was like, hey, maybe we need to sit there and look at this for our future games. So you never know.
See?
Yeah.
Right? Then what was that game that copied Breath of the Wild? That Ubisoft game? Was it
Oh yeah, Immortals Phoenix
Immortals
Rising.
Phoenix?
Yeah, I love that game.
you liked it? See? Just copy it. It's fine. Not a good example,
No,
Ron?
let's not do that. Please, no, thank you. That's okay. But no,
You know
like you
what's
guys
funny?
were saying, that combat is
Go
great.
ahead.
And I'm an old man, so turn-based I'm perfectly fine with. But them having extra something to do instead of just watch your turns was great because
Yeah.
it did keep you on your toes. You weren't just going to pick something and then just sit back and with your teeth up, put a bag of chips next to you and dig in the bag while you're waiting for your turn to come up again. Because by the time that enemy is up, you're going to have to sit there and get ready to do something, whether it's a dodge or a parry. It's not going to be sitting around and you not being active with it. So that really was cool. And much like Samit said, every enemy was different. Nobody had the same time, and some would sit there and do fake jabs like they were about to hit you and then come in and actually do a hit. And that would throw you off. That would piss me off sometimes. Because they completely would surprise you. And you're at the point where you're feeling comfortable. You're like, okay, I got the timing down on some of these. And he's about to sit there and hit you. And you're like, oh, here we go. And then you're like, oh, psych. And you're like, oh, shit. And then boom. And I was just like, oh, man. But that was part of the fun was figuring it out until you got overpowered. And then you didn't need to worry about, the enemy even getting a chance to fight because you were in the fight before it got going. But initially, it kept you on your toes. So, yeah, man, that combat, there's a whole bunch of greatness that we'll get into about the game, but that combat was very refreshing.
I have to ask, did you guys dodge or did you guys parry?
Parry for the win, man.
I did a bit of both.
You gotta end that fight. I don't want to extend it. I want to end it.
Yeah. I think I dodged like maybe the first fight or two, but once I landed some parries, like I would get to the point that I basically would learn that enemy's attack in terms that I could get the parry down. Like I didn't dodge probably after the first, 2 or 3 hours of game. The parry was way too satisfying when you got that connected. And that's the other thing too, is like, I think that's also probably why I really resonated with that combat is that like when you got that parry, the rush of like endorphins was just like overpowering. Like it just was like, yes, I am a badass. You are about to die. Like I just absolutely adored it.
Yeah, I did a bit of both. It really depended on who I was fighting. The mimes, for some odd reason, I always parried. I could nail them every single time. But there were a few enemies in there that the timing would always be a bit off for me. So I would sit there and dodge. Or sometimes, like I said, depending on like maybe about toward the end of Act 2, if I wanted to, I just knew I was going to end the fight early. I would just go ahead and just take the hit and not care, and I would just go ahead and get him on the next one. But for the most part, I want to say I kind of mixed it up, but it was mostly parry though.
Same, but also talking the mimes, I hated the mimes.
You hated the mimes. I love the mime fights. The mime fights were pretty fun.
Yeah, they were kind of annoying. I could see it, but I did try to kill everyone I could. I think. There might have been some I didn't find. I definitely didn't 100% it, but I think I did kill every mime I found at least, if I recall correctly.
I think it's such a great combat system. Like the fact that even something as simple as like you can dodge, right? You can dodge or parry. It seems so simple, but they made it very deep. It's like, listen, you dodge. It's an easier window. Like we'll give it to you, right? If you're having trouble, you can dodge, but you're not doing any damage. You're technically extending this fight.
Yeah, you're prolonging it. You sure are, which isn't always a good thing.
Which is hey, if you're playing for like a couple hours and like you're getting tired and stuff like that, are you sure you're as sharp as we? Like we're all old men here. Like we're not quick in our feet and with our thumbs and fingers.
You're not lying,
right? But if you parry, guess what? You're gonna wreck shop. You can end this fight now. Smaller window, but I just love that. Like I love the fact that the game gives you this option, and I'm with everybody else here. Like I love the combat, but it's funny because I was media blackout in terms of not watching the trailer, trying to ignore people who said when I bought the game, I actually still didn't really know what it was about. Like 'cause some people in the Discord were like, "This game's hard. It's kind of like Souls," and I was like, "Oh crap! What am I getting myself into?" Oh, it's not like that, Matt. Don't worry.
Compared it to Souls, I was like,
Yeah, and then people are like, "It's a rhythm game." And I'm like, what the fuck is this? A rhythm game? And like, oh, it's not a rhythm game. And I'm like, I don't know what this is, but people just said to play it. So I'm like, fine. So it's funny that it was only once I really got it, I was like, oh, it's a turn-based RPG with different elements. But like everybody said here, like it's just very, very satisfying once you nail it down. And the game gives it to you. Like you can practice, you can get good. There's options, there's accessibility if you want to drop it to easy. Whatever, like, and there's different options and different systems that you can play with. Like I said, if you're not good, listen, I'm not that good at parrying, but if you want to grind and just level up, then you can tank the hits and then you can smack them back, and they're done in two ways, right? Or you can practice and get good, learn the enemy patterns, and then you can parry and wreck shop. But just the animations and the styles, it's just very, very deep. And I remember I was sharing clips in the Discord, and I think Ron pointed out like, oh, why aren't you using? I think I was saved Mayal for like my reserve, and you're like, what are you doing saving her as reserve? And I was like, I don't know, I'm experimenting. And he's like, why would I look into the God Killer there?
I was so disgusted. Yeah, I was like, how's Mayel not in your main team? She is a complete beast. Like, I get it. If you're trying to, get a taste of the fight, then save her for like the third person. But to have her in the reserves, like, what are you doing? I was like what?
So that's when I was like, okay, let me, do some YouTube research. And I was like, okay, this is how you use Mayal, and this is how you use Luna. Because I wasn't even using Luna properly until I learned, like, oh, you can actually use the different elements to build up to use, like...
the stain system was pretty cool. I used her mostly up until... How long did I keep her in? I want to say until Minoko. So I had her in my party for quite a while, but then Minoko came in, and then it was pretty much verse on Minoko. Mayel.
He's pretty fun to use, but
if you build him right, man, Minoko is nasty.
He's pretty fun. Yeah, he's pretty fun to use. But just each character and like weapons elements, like it's just such a deep, rich system. And I'm with everybody else here. Like I don't mind turn-based RPGs depending on what it is. I might toss it. Like was it Octopath Traveler? Couldn't do it. Tried it a million times, just couldn't. Other stuff, as long as it's like a little bit of a twist, like Super Mario RPG, in this case Clair Obscur, Bat and Kaidos with the carts. If there's just like a little twist to it, I feel like it just makes it more fun. And Clair Obscur's combat is just, I feel like it's set the new bar for turn-based. Like if you're not flat out copying it, it's fine, but you need to aim to be at that stature, is what I would say.
Yeah,
at least that's what I would hope. In my opinion.
Just on the parry, though, one of the things actually what stood out also is when you get a successful parry, the animation that rolls after that kind of gives you a little bit of a win as well. Like, finally I get to see something which is unique.
Yeah.
And then it changes every boss cool too. It's not the same here.
Yeah, they do
animations are great. Especially like when you do like the whole team. It's like Expedition 33 parries it. It's like, fuck yeah. Just wreck shot, man. It feels good though, right? When everyone parries at the same time. It's just It knows how to reward you, like Quag said, like gets those endorphins rushing.
It does.
Sure.
They kept you involved during the fight. So yeah, man, the combat was definitely great. Like, who was everybody's like favorite party setup?
Mine was Luna, Minoko, and Mayal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine was Luna, Mayal, and Seal.
Okay.
I didn't figure her out. But she's pretty decent though, eh?
There's a lot of good people, man. Ciel is nasty work. I never really used her like that. She was my reserve. I never bothered using her like that. I didn't figure it out. But man, I've seen some nasty videos with Ciel. She is a beast, and I was just like, good grief. But that goes back to what you were talking about, where like every character has purpose.
Depth.
Yeah. If you sit there and figure out how to use them, because like. My coworker, she was talking about it when she had beat the game, and like CL was like her favorite character.
Oh, really?
And I was at first I was kind of like, really, because like I said, I didn't really use CL like that, So I would kind of just give her abilities, do enough to have her learn something like an ability, and then I would tuck her back into the reserve. And so I never bothered with her until like the fight with Simon, and that was it. Really, that's the only time I ever used her. But yeah, my coworker was saying like, use CL's ability and for this, that, and the third, and I'm getting full $1 million hits, and I'm like, what?
Really?
I didn't know CL could do all that, so I started like looking on YouTube, and I'm looking at these numbers, and I'm like, well, damn, if I had known that, I probably would have had her in the party. But my party already did nasty stuff, man. I mean, I didn't know. Sorry.
Yeah. I think I use Mael, Gustav, and Lune as kind of like my healer. That kind of got me through most of the fights.
Okay.
I think I did use CL a little bit though. I mean, I liked her. I just don't think I, was probably understanding her type of combat compared to some
it was very different from everybody else's for the most part. So I get that. But you notice that Mael is pretty much in everybody's party.
Yeah, but I think I wasn't using her right.
You didn't think you
look it up. I wasn't using her right either in the beginning.
I had some DMs with Ron that he was helping me out because I don't think I was using her right because he was talking about how he's like, ending worlds with her. I'm like, I mean, she's doing good, but not like that.
Man. Was nasty.
There's a moveset. Yep, there's a moveset with her, and even Lune. Like, it's 2 moves, and you can build up if you unlock it. It's this elemental damage that hits everybody, all elements. Ron, did you use that? Did you guys use? Yeah, Simi, you know what I'm talking about.
I think I used her long enough to sit there and get to that point.
2 moves. Second move, you could because there's one move. I think it's like the freezing one where it gives you another turn automatically.
Oh yeah.
So it's like okay, third turn, and it's just all elemental hits everyone. It's just like pew 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 pew, just thousands. I'm just like, oh shit, this is crazy.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, everybody has the purpose, man. But like I said, Miguel, no, because now Quag said that, I forgot that we did have a discussion about that, because I was just kind of just like, he was like, she's not doing that damage for me, and I was just like, what? So, but
there's a certain way. I had to look it up.
But there's
too.
also that comes down to the whole Lumina and Picto system too, though. So of course, when you start throwing that into the mix, that's why this game is crazy how they just let you make all kinds of crazy builds, and they never even bothered like trying to like, oh, we see people are getting 200 500 million hit point damage and stuff like that, and they were just like, just let it go. They didn't bother nerfing anything or trying to stop people from making crazy builds. They were just like, have fun and see what you can do with it. And that was a crazy thing too. So when Quack had told me that, I was just kind of like, okay, well, maybe it's the Pictos and the Lumina is kind of helping along with that, because like I said, for the most part, man, I had no choice but to save Mael as cleanup, or she would have ended fights and I would have never got a taste of what people could even do. But because she was just nasty. I mean, you put her in Virtuous Stance and Stendhal, and it was over.
It's over.
Yeah, no, I had to save her for the end, and then it got to the point where it didn't even matter anymore because nothing was really getting past Verso. I mean, I had built him up to the point where the dude was just about as nasty as Mael was, and yeah, it's just that game. They really did something with that game. Like I said, the build possibilities is just wild.
But
that's a beautiful game. Sorry,
this will come across where I'm actually a new player when it comes to RPGs. I didn't look into any of the builds, so I wouldn't know how to get the most out of a character. I didn't know you could uncap the hits until the Matt talked about it on Discord, like in December. I'm like, what? You're uncapping hits? I didn't know that actually existed.
Yeah.
So I was actually suffering through and not getting these uncapped hits.
Oh man, I couldn't imagine, especially for those Act 3 fights. Oh goodness.
Hard mode unlock there. Ouch.
Ooh,
I was actually playing on medium difficulty all through Act 1 and Act 2.
For Samit.
When I got to Act 3, I actually had to drop to easy because the fights were taking too long and I wanted to progress on the story. I want to see where this goes. I'm like, this is taking too long.
That makes sense. I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do any of the optional stuff without the uncapping, especially like I said with that optional boss with Simon, man. You have no choice unless you just want to torture yourself. I couldn't think about that. Yeah. But I mean, I Frankensteined a lot of my builds. There was a guide that I started when I first started playing the game. And then I think there was like 2 videos I saw on YouTube, and I just kind of Frankenstein and took a bit of each thing that I liked about it. Cause a lot of them leaned a lot into like the parry Pictos, and I didn't like parrying enough where I was like trusting in the fact of like, do I really want to sit there and have this Picto for parrying if I don't trust my parrying like that? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to leave this off. And I would replace something with it. I sit there and built my stuff more on like breaking characters.
Great. Really?
Yeah, breaking characters is great because I mean, you would stun them and you would get a whole bunch of free hits in. I think that was my main thing with Verso. When I would sit there and use like one of his powerful abilities, 90% of the time it would instantly break, whether it was a boss or whatever I was fighting, and then it would just be over from there. So I was more of like into breaking than parrying. But once again, that falls into that whole, the Picto system can change things up a lot. But yeah, man, Samit, I couldn't imagine. There's no way, because I was up there wondering what was going on with me when I kept seeing, because I think some of the newer trailers that were coming out as I was playing the game, they were showing like the 9,999. And I was like, how the hell? I was like, how the hell did they get to this? Like, what?
Hey, how'd you get that?
Am I doing something wrong? But then once Act 3 opened up, and then it was like, oh, I'm gonna bring the details of like the Pictos and Lumina, and like, oh, I said, this is what this does. And then that's when it was on from there. I was like, okay, now this feels right. So, yeah.
You gotta read.
I got lucky in Act 2 when I unlocked Mael's weapon. So you're supposed to do a certain quest line and get the weapon. I had no idea. I'd accidentally stumbled upon it, where I did it in a certain order. And I showed Ron, I got this weapon. He goes, that's it. That's what you need now. That's
I said,
the main weapon for that character. And I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah, keep it right there, man. And once again, that goes to show, like, you stumbled upon it, which was great. I wonder, even though I explore everywhere, I wonder if I would have sit there and had that same experience, because it's like the guide I had was like, didn't do any spoilers. The only thing they said is, when you run into this weapon, keep it. And that's all it really said. And I was just kind of like, okay, well, I'll make note of that. And sure enough, I see why, because I was like, I don't know what virtuous stance is. And then I was like, oh, that's what virtuous stance is. So I said, okay, now it makes sense, because, yeah, that stance would just change everything. So, yeah, man.
So every fight I start with Mael. That's just a given.
Yeah, and that's why I told
smart.
you that was perfect for you, because you wanted hard mode. So you started with Mael was a smart thing to do. Yeah, God, man. Yeah, crazy build things, and as you can see, the party members, everybody had a different party setup. Everybody had a different like build experience. So that part is really cool.
Yeah, and I think I really liked how a lot of the characters, like, they're very unique. Like, no one really played like the other. I mean, like, you basically had, like, no copycats. Like, everyone played it completely differently, which is very, very interesting. I really like that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, Minoko had the whole wheel thing. CL with the cards.
Fun.
Yeah. Minoko and the wheel was pretty cool.
It was actually very fun. Oh yeah, I liked it a lot. Yeah.
CL had the cards down. Like you said, Lune was like your elemental, damage person. Miel was just pretty much your heavy hitter. Gustav / Verso was very much. They were meant to be setup characters to set up, for damage for everybody else. But
exactly, yeah.
Depending on how you build it, because like I told you, got to the point where Verso was not a setup guy for me. He was pretty much the setup, cleanup, main damage dealer. he was all that in one. So, but they all had their base purpose. But once again, depending on how you build them, depending on how you use the Pictos, you could pretty much turn everybody into whatever you wanted to, for the most part, away from what their base purpose was, which was, like I said, which was really cool.
Game is beautiful, guys. Like, it isn't technically an indie game, right? But like, it clearly has a high budget. No, like, it looks AAA and plays AAA.
They did a great job with it. It's a gorgeous game, and I kind of felt like I underrated it quite a bit once I watched Skillup's documentary about it, how the game came along, and like all the it's pretty much just like a hodgepodge of talent.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a hodgepodge of talent. I mean, all just came together. If you sit there and watch that documentary and you see how this game came together, the first thing you're going to say to yourself is like, this is just all luck, timing, divine intervention. This game should not exist. I mean, reaching out through emails like, hey, I found your stuff on SoundCloud, or I saw this on a gallery website, and you're just like, what is all of this? Like, the animation stuff was all like Korean artists that they really did that in their part-time. They had real jobs, but they were like, hey, we'll work on this, in between our real jobs. And so all the animations were different, like creative Korean artists making the animation stuff. So all the cool things, like what Samit was talking about with the parries and all that kind of stuff, the super moves, all that stuff was all different artists, so it's just a hodgepodge of things coming together. But yeah, man, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful game. And for them coming out the gate like that, you're just kind of like, I feel bad for their next game, because their next game can be just great. But because this bar is so high, I don't know if they're ever going to be able to top that, because I mean, this is their first game. And yeah, the founder, he worked at Ubisoft, but most of the people who were involved with this, they've never done like game development stuff like this before. So to them, this is their first game. And you want to talk about like, this doesn't happen to most studios. Most studios come out slow. They might have a mild hit. Here's some 90 open critic stuff. But as far as like running hog wild on Game Awards and everybody, pretty much saying, oh, this is the greatest game of all time, that just doesn't happen. So it's just like, there's no way they're going to be able to really win with that next game, because everybody is going to say, oh man, this is cool, but it's not Expedition 33. So
yeah, it's hard to imagine that they don't have the sophomore slump. I mean, it's just, the bar is just so high.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have a choice. Like I said, it's probably going to be a great game. I don't see it being anything bad. But like you said, it just, you come out the gate this hot, everything is going to be compared to this No matter if your studio does 5 more games or 50, everything is going to be, well, man, this is a great game, but this is Expedition 33. So I wish them luck. Lord knows they're going to need it because, like I said, critics and fans are already going to be like, "Oh man, well this looks cool, but it's missing this, and they'll start doing the drop down list of all the things. Yeah, all the things that Expedition 33 had. Oh, the sound design is cool, but it's not this, So, but yeah, it's just it is a beauty. It is a beauty, and every time you went to a different environment, there would always be something different. Like, God, man, this is just an amazing game. When you went to the water world that looked like it was underwater, but it wasn't. I was just like, this
cool.
What is this?
Yeah. It's art. It was beautiful.
And that's all that's all you can really say it, man, because every time they went to someplace different, it was always something for you to kind of just look at and just say, gosh, man, this is just beautiful. Beautiful.
It's stunning. Like, even the soundtrack is top notch, and we'll get into the spoilers later, but like, even the story, like, it was quite a beautiful ride. And for me personally, I was caught off guard by many elements, and I'm glad that I just did media blackout, didn't want to listen to any review, so that most of the surprises got to me. And yeah, I think it's just astounding that first game could knock it out of the park in all the different categories that I'm looking for in a video game. And yeah, I can see why it cleaned house at the Game Awards, because it set the bar real high. It's going to be tough following up. It's going to be really, really hard.
I thought they were going to get robbed, to be honest, with the awards were coming out, because I think so many people were talking about the game and talking about how great it was and how it was the greatest game they had ever played and everything. So sometimes with award shows, they always want to kind of be like, well, we don't want to seem like we're on the bandwagon, so let's purposely pick something else just to say that we're being different and not just jumping on the bandwagon. So
Death
when
Stranding 2?
All the awards, well, if that had happened, I know for sure what would have happened. There's no way in hell Death Stranding should have been Expedition. But I mean, but when all the award shows, all the award shows was behind it, and it's just like, this is crazy. I like Jeff Keighley's awards. I was not expecting Expedition 33 to clean house like that, and it did. And I was just kind of like, well, this is it then. Like I said, that's lightning in the bottle. I don't think it'll ever happen for them again. If it does, then power to them. That goes to show that this wasn't just all luck for them. But yeah, man, just all the boxes checked. And I've talked about it before, whether it was on our Game of the Year episode or in the Discord. It's the only game I've ever given a 5 out of 5 for, because it checked every single box for me. And that just hasn't happened with any game, whether it was the combat, whether it was the story, the characters, the sound design, just everything coming together. And the beginning of the game is one of the hardest games start-offs ever. I mean, first they get you with the whole, well, you know what, let's go for the emotions. Let's get the heart invested early.
Yeah.
The gamage happens, and you're just like, only like, what 20 minutes in? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
They get you depressed, and then you land on the island, and instantly things go to shit. And it's just like everybody is dying. There's explosions. You're like, what is going on? What kind of game is this? Like, what is and it just keeps you going. It's like they don't really let off the gas at that point. Something happens that everybody knows that happens at the end of Act 1 that just rips your heart out. And it's at the point where, like, I don't want to play this game anymore. It's like, I just need to push away from this because this is too much. But then you want to see where it goes. And then you have no choice but to get reinvested again, despite the heartbreak that happens. And it's just, they keep you on that roller coaster. And it's like Matt said, they throw curveball after curveball. Some things you just don't see coming. And you're just like, what a wild ride this game was.
What for me the surprise was
I want to ask you something, Samit, because I think for Ron, I don't know where it is. I want him to answer this later, because I know Expedition 33 is somewhere on his greatest games of all time list. Somewhere, right? It's somewhere on your list. There it is.
Yeah.
And then
it's on the throne.
For Quag and I, we like this game. correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not in our top 10 of games of all time, right?
Right.
Right. So we're on the same page. Samit, where is this for you? Like, is it game changing, like top 5 of all time, or game of the year? Like, how high did this game go for you?
It's not in the top 5, but it's definitely in the top 10. Because this made me try
Oh,
something. Like,
damn.
it's opened my eyes up to trying different type of games I normally wouldn't. Because
Right.
I like, my go-to is Uncharted, God of War,
Okay.
or maybe the other way is 2D Metroidvania. So that's my preference of gaming. So for me to try RPG heavy turn-based, that's like a no. I'm not going to do this. But then I did and actually enjoyed it. So now I'm open to trying different games as well. And what I was just going to say is,
Wow.
That's good to hear.
what I really appreciate about this game was it wasn't an open world. Like, it's more linear. Like, the way you
Mhm.
follow
Yes.
through.
I hear a
Yes.
lot of people say that, and yeah,
That actually was
that's
satisfying for me.
yeah.
Because
There's nothing
I
wrong
know
with that.
Ron
That's a
wouldn't
good
like
thing
to
to
hear
have.
this, but Horizon burnt me. Horizon Forbidden West. Ever since
Fair
then, I'm
enough.
just done with open world games.
Look, I'm
Fair enough,
an open.
man.
I don't mind open worlds at all, but even Forbidden West burned me. So you are not alone. That got to
Oh,
the
damn.
point where that was ridiculous. Like I was good
It's
with that
big.
first area. Then you get past that first area, and then you see all the icons just barf on the screen,
Yep.
and you're just like, "What is
Oh
this map?
God.
Like, what is this?" And yeah, so no, that is perfectly valid.
And what surprised me with the Clair Obscur also was when you finish the one world and then you go to the world map, and then you kind of have this really bird's eye view of where you are. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
No, is this how you go
Yeah.
to play the game? Because you actually encounter enemies as well. I'm like, wait, what am I doing here? This makes no
good
sense.
stuff.
Can I go
It's
back
good
to like a
stuff.
real vision?
What I
It
like
was a bit of a
best is
trip.
that how it opens up in the end, and maybe that's that. I think my enjoyment may have been different from y'all's because I did everything. I explore everything in games anyway, but it was something about the fact that they was like, we'll just hide these optional bosses away. You have to go out your way to them. They're not blocking progress or anything like that. They are completely optional, and especially with Act 3, most of the optional stuff is all they're like, here, you can go finish the game, or you can go tackle all these extra things, because they're out there. And that was part of the fun for me. It's like, okay, well, shit, I got these killer bills. Let me go test all this stuff. Let me go over here to the tower and take all these different floors on and stuff. Let me go after all these optional bosses that I saw kind of floating around and walking around. Let me go after them. And like I said, got to the point where I was just like, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and platinum this. Let me go ahead and take on Simon because I gotta beat him to get that platinum. And like I said, it was just something about testing those builds out and seeing what I could do against those optional bosses and stuff and everything. And so all my enjoyment was just there was just nothing flawed to me in the game. And I know that Matt and a few others was like, oh, I would have preferred a mini map. I didn't get lost. So the mini map didn't really affect me. I was just like, I didn't get lost. I thought it was pretty easy to sit there and kind of find your way back. If you went off on a side trail or anything like that, I think it was pretty good about looping you back around to the main path that you were on, or just doubling back from where you came from and then heading forward. But
I think yeah, most worlds were good except the water world. I think that was a little confusing in terms of which direction you're headed in and where you are, and then you just keep encountering different enemies.
Water
and
world,
like,
I
hey,
can
where did
believe.
this turn from?
Yeah, because
I
a
think
lot
I
of
did
stuff
get
was
lost
similar.
there.
On that one. Yeah, the water world I could see because there was very similar. All those areas were very similar to each other for the most part, so I could see that. But Matt, I know you and Marcus were not fans of not having a map.
Yeah, and it's such a minor nitpick. Like overall I love the game, and I strongly still think it deserves every award that it won. And yeah, it's just a minor nitpick for me, just because it makes it a little frustrating for me to like, okay, let me try to explore, but I'm gonna get lost. It just kind of slows down that process of like going with the flow naturally, kind of riding the wave. It's not a big deal, but it's just a minor nitpick. Like, still love the game, and I honestly actually really think that if I had played this at launch, I think I would have liked it more. I really do think that way. I really think it. And it's no fault to anybody's. I do think it messed up my experience of playing it so much later, even though it's a few months later. But just hearing so many people say like one of the best games of all time, greatest, making it on the GOAT list, like this bar so high like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're when I hear that, I'm like, you're telling me Clair Obscur is going, up there with Nier Automata, The Last of Us Part 1, Part 2, Super Mario RPG. Like, yeah.
You're naming a whole bunch
2.
of stuff like Nier, Last of Us.
That's
like,
right.
keep that out of the conversation.
No,
don't ruin it.
That's where my list is. And so if you hear people, I'm like, where's it going to fit there? It's just, the bar was just set too high. And even though I did media blackout, trying my best, I just couldn't help but feel inside. I'm waiting for this massive emotional experience, like twist to happen that makes me like pause the game and sob. And I think that's unfair for me to do to any game, right? Because that shouldn't, right? Like when that stuff happened to me in The Last of Us, Nier, it just happened on its own. Like I wasn't looking for it, and then I got it. It just came, and as I was experiencing the story, and then I think that's what kind of messed me up, that I wasn't able to just let the game give me the experience that it was meant to. Even though I tried my best, I really did, friends.
So
I really
tried.
The
games that you mentioned, Last of Us and Nier, did you play those day one?
I did not play them day one, but I didn't hear enough. Like Nier Automata, all I heard was like, it's weird sci-fi shit, and I'm like, it's $20. Bought it. That's it. I know, like maybe if it was, in a different year, it would have been Game of the Year, but it was like Breath of the Wild. So then I was like, okay, that's high enough praise, $20, whatever, right? Last of Us, like, hey, I'm coming off of Uncharted. Excellent games, but like I wasn't expecting Last of Us Part 1 storytelling. I don't think any of us were, right?
Yeah.
And then so it's just I came in with different expectations. Super Mario RPG. I'm expecting Mario platforming, and I'm getting like a full-blown RPG experience for the first time. So this is one of the few times where I'm telling myself, sometimes it's actually worse not to play day one. Sometimes. Right? If you get too much chatter, and
it's hard to avoid hype. I mean, so you explain it that
hard.
way, mate. Yeah, you explain it that way is hard, because the thing is that you couldn't run away from it. Whether it was you would have had to black out from Discord, Blue Sky, any
YouTube,
talking to your friends. Yeah, exactly, everywhere, because everybody was talking about it. So, and you're right, when everybody is talking about it, putting it on their GOAT list, talking about how great it is. As much as you try to keep that out of the picture and not overhype yourself, it is a bit hard to say, okay, yeah, maybe this is going to be my GOAT. And then, of course, you might feel a little bit differently because you are expecting this extremely high bar compared to other games you've played because of all the hype behind it. I mean, that makes sense, because I think that's what happened with me and Sea of Stars, where everybody was saying how fantastic this game was and how life-changing, and oh my god, I'm seeing the clouds and meeting God with this title, and I play it and I'm like, this shit is about as basic as it gets. Like, what is this?
Oh, damn.
It was a good game. It was a good game, but Sea of Stars was not all that for me, like it was for everybody else. Like, I don't feel like I sit there and went to Super Saiyan level with this and traveled to the other side of the universe with this. Like, it was just good. And there was nothing more to it than that. But I think maybe I may have enjoyed it a bit more if it hadn't been for everybody hyping it up like it was like walking on water. Like, this is this amazing title that people were calling it like Chrono Trigger. And I'm just like,
whoa,
yeah, nah, this is not.
Who said that?
There was a lot of people who said and said that. And I'm just like,
really?
This is not Chrono Trigger at all. Like, are you just saying that, or did you play the game? Like did you play Chrono Trigger when you said this? Like, because these two are not the same. So I get that.
Yeah, but sometimes like hype's not always bad. Like, Matt, true. I know in the pre-show we were almost talking about if this is gonna be a Resident Evil podcast, and we did, decide to pump the brakes on that. But I mean, you basically have said on record that Requiem is like your favorite Resident Evil, and maybe it's the hype playing day one. So I mean, sometimes that is part of the experience. I remember when I was playing more Nintendo, I was buying more day one games, and it was kind of fun to play games as a community would too. So I mean, there's value in that too. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah, it always helps to have somebody to talk to about it too. Because I do wonder if I hadn't played Quantum Break at the same time with Quag, would have I enjoyed it as much as I did? Because me and Quag pretty much were like stayed on the same pace all the way through the game. So we would be like, hey, where are you at in the game? And then we would kind of start talking about it, and hey, well, this part was pretty cool and everything like that. So when you got somebody to kind of share the experience with, that helps the enjoyment more. It's kind of what we were talking about before the show started with the co-op for Resident Evil 5. Like, if we had played it solo, maybe we wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. but because we played it with a friend, it made the enjoyment better.
And actually, we kind of did that with this game too, right? Because I think you started before I did, but now that I think about it, it's actually a miracle that I'm here right now, because I think the only reason I played it is because Ron bought it for me. And
y'all know how,
I
think I buy half. Yeah, I think I buy half.
And y'all know how cheap I am. I usually don't get games until they're 50% off. But this game hasn't gone 50% off yet. So in another universe,
that's accurate. Yeah,
you know, it would just be the three of y'all, or maybe someone else would be here. I don't know, but I may not be here because I hadn't played it yet.
So I think I did. I think I did buy it for him.
That's right. It has not gone on sale, right? Like, at least not a substantial one.
I think the cheapest.
If it's gone on sale, I think it's maybe 20%, maybe.
Yeah, I think the cheapest I've seen it is like maybe 33, and knowing me, I'd be like, well, wait, wait till it's 25.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm just cheap.
Did you have Game Pass for PC, Cwaggy?
Say again?
Do you have Game Pass?
I do not. Yeah. I thought about that because, I mean, that could have been a cheap way at the time. That was before the increase, but yeah, I don't have Game Pass.
Clair Obscur was on Game Pass?
It was. That's why they showed up at the Xbox conference. Yeah, they pretty much was like, hey, this is going to be day one on Game Pass and stuff. So
that's a huge win for them.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends, man. I mean, I don't know. Microsoft may have undersold them. They may have been like, hey, your game is brand new. We'll pass you $25.
I can't imagine they had like a huge, because I mean, I don't think anyone. I mean, obviously they didn't even think it was going to be a big hit, right? They printed like 25 copies.
It was a brand new studio.
Sold out.
With
print more,
And the thing is that the game was so weird, even with that trailer, that you never think that everybody's going to gravitate toward it like that. So I would not be surprised if they weren't undersold on that. They probably cut them like a check, and they were like, here you go, and they were probably just happy to get it. And then all of a sudden, all these damn, people started talking about it, playing it, and they're like, shit, maybe we should have done the Game Pass. Yeah. But I want to say, I think for the most part, when articles started coming out, they were saying that even though Game Pass helped, I think they said that most people were still like buying the game, which was good. I mean, so thank goodness, because I mean, there's no way that Microsoft probably saw this being something super big. So I doubt they cut them a fat check for it. So they probably got it on the other side when people who were buying the games, kind of pick that up for them. But yeah, man, I wonder sometimes in hindsight if they had kind of wished that like maybe we shouldn't have took that Game Pass check. But then would people have played it as many people who played it without it? So it's hard. It
honestly could have been a lost leader, because I think that's probably what got people talking about it. I mean, I'm not saying people wouldn't have bought it, but I think it being on Game Pass, a lot of people, tried it that maybe never would have bought it, right? So it's kind of it can be a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for sure. I mean, like I said, would have been people have been talking about it in the beginning if it hadn't been day one on Game Pass. Maybe it would have caught fire after a month or two or three if it hadn't been Game Pass, because people would have been like, hey, this is good. But at the same time, oftentimes when reviews are really great, that can sit there and get people to sit there and try stuff out too. And the reviews right from the jump, when it came out the gate, I think it was already sitting like at 95 on OpenCritic, and people were like, "Holy shit! Like what is this?" And because nobody was expecting that, So when it came out the gate on that, people were like, "Okay," and that it kind of just took off from there, right from the jump. So. It's hard to say, but yeah, that's why I was at the Xbox conference. It was going to be Game Pass. They said that right from day one, and yeah, I mean, it worked out for everybody. But like I said, in hindsight, I would like to know, like, do they feel that maybe they should have maybe said, you know what, nah, well, we'll take a chance and just not do that, because I would love to see like with the check they got for that, like like Microsoft was like, you guys are kind of brand new, and this is like really weird. And if you see the documentary, it was hard for them to find publishers that were willing to, put their backup behind this, like, yeah, nah, like, we're all right. They would have meetings with people, and they would walk out the meeting, and they would be like, yeah, we don't think that went well or whatnot. And it was like Kepler Interactive was the one who, published it, but Kepler is like a conglomerate of a whole bunch of indie, developers. They're not like a real, like, I don't want to say not a real publishing wing, but they're not a 2K or a EA or anything like that. They're very different with the way they do their publishing, so if Microsoft hadn't sit there and came to them with a check, who knows? But it happened, and everything worked out for them. So here we are with it.
Now, what also helped is it wasn't a full price game. if you recall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
even
think
if
it
it's
was
right.
like $40 or something like that. I think.
I think it's 50
that actually
USD.
helped with the marketing too. That you don't have to pay a full price game to get a almost AAA quality product.
Yeah, which was quality. And the thing is that price was really good for what you got out of it. Like, if you wanted it to be a quick game,
Oh yeah.
that's cool. Because like I said, Act 3 opened and they pretty much were just like, well, at this point, you can do what you want. You can go do optional stuff or you can just go right to the end. And so if you wanted it to be a short experience, it certainly could have had, but you're right, Samit. If it had been a $69, $70 game, yeah, there's no way that it may have taken off as fast as it did. But coming out at $40, man, that was a very sweet price. That was a flashback to the old school days, like a $40 game, in this day and age, so yeah. And then you see how quality it was. Because at first I was a little bit worried when I saw that price. I was just like, okay, this game is going to be like, what, 20 hours? And, maybe it's just going to be strictly linear. You just go from point A to point B and that's it. So I think that's what surprised me too. We're like, this game is beautiful. The soundtrack, everything, $40? Like, this is what we doing? Like, I would have been willing to pay $70 for that because that was
100%.
that was the kind of experience where I would have gave you full dollar for that. No sale, nothing. So yeah, props to them for that price agreement too. I don't know whose plan it was for that. Maybe Kepler was just like, hey, you guys are brand new, do $40. You can make it up later if need be or whatever. And yeah, man, that's yeah, a lot of things coming together. That's what I was talking about with the hodgepodge, the pricing, all these different people from all these different backgrounds, and this game should not exist. It should not have been what it was. Yet here it is. So it kind of very much disturbed the industry that we're in today. We're kind of just topsy-turvied it, because if you had told me that all this was going on behind the scenes before that game came out, I would have immediately been like, this game is not going to make it. This game isn't going to make it. It's gonna land like a dud because you got too many different areas of expertise combining, and nobody has like industry experience except for like the founding guy and like two other people. It's like, this isn't going to work, but it did. So which is awesome. I mean, we need more stories like this in the industry when you got people putting out games and then the team is getting dissolved instantly because they didn't make enough money back or whatever's going on or bad management, but then you have something like this coming together and you're like, okay, $40 game pass, brand new studio, first game, and then it sets the world on fire like this. So it's good to have stories like this compared to a lot of the other stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, too, I think the budget that came out for it was like 10 million, which I'm not saying 10 million ain't nothing, but 10 million to make a video game
compared these days, man. Yeah,
I was gonna say that's nothing. A good budget compared to everybody else.
Yeah. And you think about it, the money they made back from it is shit. I would be surprised if they weren't already set for the next game budget off of Expedition alone. I mean, because the game is still selling. So yeah. So depending on what they plan on doing with the next game, I mean, I would be very shocked if they didn't have that budget already. Like, we already got that in the vault. We're good for the next 5 games off of Expedition or something like that. So,
what would you guys want to see from the next game?
Oh man,
that's a tough one, man.
When are we going to get into the spoiler side of things, Quag?
I was gonna say, can we hop over?
We can do it now. We've been going for about an hour.
Okay.
We've been tiptoeing enough. Come on.
Okay.
Let's jump in.
All right.
Let's jump in.
If you haven't played the game yet, or this is your chance, because we're about to get hot and heavy with spoilers. So you've been warned. All right, proceed.
All right, here we go. So, because of the story revelations, when things really open up after you beat the Paintress, now there is just like there's a battle out in the world between the writers, the painters. Apparently there's this whole thing going on outside of the paintings. So now it's kind of like, okay, well, now we have it opening where, okay, how many different paintings are there? What's going on out in the real world? So as much as I don't want them to kind of revisit this, and I would like to have them take a break and do something different, that selfish side of me would like to see them revisit this, and now maybe we can either go into a different painting or explore what is going on with this whole writers faction that apparently is just as big of a menace as the Paintress was.
Right?
Yeah, so God, I would love to see what they would do with that, because now when that was revealed, I was just kind of like, wait a minute, so you're telling me this?
Yeah, this has been happening the whole time.
Like, what? Wait,
Yeah.
so there's a war going outside of this? And like, well, first of all, when we found out it was a painting, that blew my fucking mind. I was like, what do you mean this is in the real world? Like, whoa. that whole revelation after that I was like, what is going on? Like, what is this? It was awesome, but at the same time, I was just kind of like, what? So I want to be selfish and I want to say, God, please, if they want to revisit this, I know they've already said that they're going to do something different.
Is that what they said? Aww.
But the thing is that saying that you're going to do something different from Expedition 33, what is that really saying? Because the thing is that you can visit another painting and it can be completely different mechanics, different characters, different everything. Because every painting isn't going to be the same. So you say it's different. Like, okay, is that a curveball, or are you actually telling us we're like, no, we're going to do something different and we're going to do a roguelike puzzle game? And, which I hope you don't, please. Sandfall, if you're listening to this, please, don't do that.
Character action game.
Don't do a deck builder. Don't do a roguelike, please. Just no. Please God. But, yes, I mean, man, I don't know.
I feel like they have to. You can't just leave the
like
game
sequel?
off like that. Yes. You cannot leave the ending like that. And like you said, this massive bombshell. Well, that's just being a dick. Like, you cannot end the game like this. But Ron's right. Like, they opened up the world massively. Like, you're like, hold up. Outside of this, like, there's this whole war going on. You're not gonna give me more? Like, that's it? There's so much storytelling. Like, that's easily like just there. Like, you cannot just leave it.
Give me some perspective.
Come on.
Give the perspective.
Sometimes
the
mystique is more interesting than the actual story. So that's what I'm be worried about. Is like, yes, like I want to know more about the writers and everything, but sometimes like having that headcanon is kind of more fun than them actually doing a full-fledged sequel on what it is.
That's fair. If they don't want to immediately go back into that, and they want to sit there and dip their toes into something else, that's cool. As long as eventually they come back around to this.
There you go.
Because I want to know about the writers. Don't leave that on the table. Give me a whole game from that perspective. Because maybe in the writer's mind, whatever's going on is the painter's fault. I need to know these things.
See?
I can't help it. I love narratives. I love story guys. To me, you mentioning them and then not giving me more on this is saying, you know what, Ron? Fuck you.
Yes, that's exactly what they. I agree with that 100%.
I don't want you to tell me this. I want to know everything. Give me all of the story now.
So this is coming from the guy who didn't like Last of Us Part 2, right? Because that's what they did. They gave everything, then he said no.
That's totally different. I was perfectly fine with the way that the Part 1 ended. I was one of those people who were like, oh man, I gotta know what he said. I thought it ended great. I was cool with them just leaving it right there where Joel didn't answer. Leave it alone. But then they had to go do Part 2 and they had to ruin it.
That's a different episode. Anyway, what I would actually like is...
We could get to that another time. But yeah, man, it's just they can do 2, even 3 different games if they want to. As long as eventually come back around to this. Because I think they're just leaving... That's meat on the bone that they're leaving there. And I think they can come back around to that, because that just... There's so much that can be done with that. Like, if it was just the painter world and you had never mentioned anything about the writers, you never said anything about other paintings, then I would say, yeah, cool. They can be done with this and we're all right with that. But somebody had mentioned something that was very cool. It was similar to like the whole indoctrination theory that BioWare said it wasn't true, but when somebody made a whole video trying to explain the real ending of Mass Effect 3 that wasn't the real ending, but it made more sense the way he was explaining it. Somebody had mentioned that the whole Clair Obscur part of the Expedition 33 was saying that, well, there is just Clair Obscur is the new Final Fantasy for Sandfall, and it's Clair Obscur whatever the next painting is, and then another painting or whatever. And that sounded cool to me, because if you have all these paintings, then these are going to be all these different worlds. That sounds cool. I'm perfectly fine with them if they take that approach. But who knows what Sandfall's going to do?
Yeah. Well, Samit, to answer your question, I didn't know I wanted Clair Obscur. I mean, like I mentioned before, it's not in the top 10 games of all time for me, but it's still a great game. But I think with what they came up with, I think they came up with something fantastic. And I wouldn't want to just like pigeonhole them into doing like a direct sequel, type thing. So I kind of, especially if they've already mentioned that they want to go in a different direction, then I want them to go in a different direction too, and I want them to come up with something cool and unique like they did the first time around. So, like I mentioned before, it may be hard to because like the bar right now is that they have to win Game of the Year again, right? So I mean that's quite the bar.
At least from somebody.
Yeah. So I kind of do want to see something new. And it doesn't even have to be an RPG. Like I said, like I kind of joked it with being a character action game, but hell, do it. Like,
I mean, that's fine. I mean, they could do that.
Yeah.
I have faith in them to do that. So,
Matt?
I'm selfish. We want more. Everybody wants this. Just give it to us. Why mess around? That's like, listen, if they're really, really passionate about some other idea they got, fine. But like, there was like subreddits about the lore of Clair Expedition. Like, you're not gonna capitalize on this. Like, come on. Like, there's just so much storytelling potential. I think it's such a waste when like it's there. It makes sense. You've already done the groundwork of building out this world. Like, and all you get is to expand on it. Like you said, there's so many different ways. I don't think I necessarily want to see like a direct. I don't even see how you could, but just I don't need the exact same characters again, right? It just takes place in the same world somehow in some capacity because I feel like Mayal's and Verso's story's done. At least that's how I see it. Do you guys want more of them?
so
No,
right?
So the way I see this actually playing out is I would see them doing an Alan Wake control thing where this is like a control or an Alan Wake, and then the next game is the other side of it, and it's still part of the larger universe, but they don't necessarily have to
universe.
coincide just yet.
Yeah. Actually, I like that. I don't think I thought about the Alan Wake, or the Remedy, extended universe, as it's called. I'd be, I'm in.
But they've done the setup for that.
Fine.
They've done the setup for that. At the end, when they have the funeral, the proper funeral for Verso, and the whole family is there and stuff. They've already shown that Clair has been doing her own thing anyway. She has been taking the war to the riders. And even when there's an optional boss fight against like Clair in the game, in the Act 3 area when everything opens up and stuff. And you get a taste of what Clair can kind of do in that optional fight. That fight didn't even go past that first round for me. But I didn't even know that fight could really do. But it was Kevin Ainsworth that I was talking to. And Kevin was telling me about how that fight was like one of the hardest fights for him. And when he was talking to me about it, I was just like, I didn't get past that first wave. So when Kevin was talking about that, I was like, well, damn, son, I didn't know Clair was working with all that. So on top of the fact that she obviously is a great fighter, on top of the elements that you get during the story about her and the reason why she is so upset, because she's trying to hold down the family, but at the same time, she wants everybody to move on because look, I'm fighting with you guys. I'm fighting with the writers. I don't got time for this shit. Get your stuff together. Verso is gone, and let's handle this. So if they want to give me a game with Clair, I'm fine with this. Give me her perspective. Give me her fight during the writers while all the stuff in Expedition 33 is going on. Because Claire's she has had a bitter pill. By the time you meet her, you're just like, damn, this girl is kind of shitty. She's kind of just talking to Alicia, Mel, any kind of way. She's mad at everybody and stuff. And the more you get to see the things that are happening, the more you start seeing, okay, well, all right, now I kind of see what you're talking about because you fighting alone. Everybody dealing with the death of Verso. Mom is stuck in the painting. Dad's trying to get her out of there. Mael's involved with this, and you out here fighting the real fight by yourself. I get it. I wouldn't mind seeing her perspective of all that. So if they want to give me some Clair stuff and you get to play as her and maybe her only, like maybe it comes down to that, just that character action game that Quag was talking about, and it's just Clair. Fine.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm all right with that because there's plenty of story there to tell. So that would be cool with me. I'm all right with that. But I guess if you're going to do a Clair thing, though, there's going to probably be flashbacks to Verso, the real life version. And I guess they'll have to get that whole thing worked out there. So you probably would have to run into the main characters at least again, with his mom, dad, Mael, Alicia, all of them in a Clair game, and I would be all right with that because, like I said, Clair has plenty of things going on that I think that you could build a game around, and it would be worthy.
That's what I think. Yes, I still want more, and like I said, I think just as we can see, like there's just so many different options from it. And I'm trying to think back, when I was playing the game, like there were so many emotional moments, and I would hope that whatever they decide to do, whether it's like a sequel, brand new game, like they can still hit those emotional beats. Like, yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Like when Gustav dies, like that shit came out of nowhere.
Man,
yeah, I did not see that coming.
Man.
And it was so violent. It was just like it just hurt so bad.
About that.
No,
and the way that he came in, like they slow everything down, and then you hear the cane hitting the ground. It is echoing out. Yeah. Mael is sitting there across from him. They're just talking, having a good old time, and the whole time I'm screaming at the screen behind you. And sure enough, man, Gustav is just talking and then kaboom, and you just see the blood splatter across Mael's face. Gustav has got the blood, and I'm like, "Are you shitting me, man?" And it's just like right there, Gustav is just like, "Run," and I'm just like, "Man, come on." It's done. God, that was like, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's weird because you after the fact you say to yourself, well, I guess they were doing a good job of trying to set us up for that because, like I said, they get you on that whole depressed, sad vibe right from the jump.
Yeah,
because that Gamage that they did, man, was some sad shit. Like
that was rough to watch.
Yeah, everybody just goes out to the harbor and it's just people just start disappearing and shit, and you're just like, man, this is really fucked up. Like, what is going on here? So the whole vibe just instantly changed at that part, and then of course they're having a small party and a tribute to those that they lost, and everybody's like, okay, man, the expedition, you guys are going to take care of this. Well, this will never happen again. Everybody's going to go out there. We're sending 800 people out there. Go kick their ass. And then you get out there, and none of that happens. That whole expedition just gets wiped out right from the jump. Yeah, and I'm just like, what? I was hyped. I was like, okay, cool. Apparently we're just going to be one part of the expedition, but everybody's going to go their separate ways, and we're all going to kick ass and handle this. And it just goes completely sideways. And once again, it's like, what are you setting me up here for? Because you already got me sad. You wiped out the whole team, the whole squad that went there, and now it's just Gustav by himself. And it's like, this is really like setting a tone. Like, it's very lonely until you run into Lune. You're kind of like, okay, man, like, all right, I got to fight by myself. Like, you knew eventually you were going to run into somebody, but it was just a very weird vibe that they set where you're kind of like, okay, I hope I run into somebody soon, because like after all the shit I just ran into on the beach, I'm not trying to run into that again by myself, but then you run to Lune, and even that environment is like there's bodies all over the damn place. And you're just like, golly, man, it's just, once again, setting the tone, setting the vibe. I thought Gustav was going to make it to the end. Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, and they fooled me. They fooled me. And the trailers, I got to give them props for the trailers, because the trailer never ever gave a hint that anything was going to happen to Gustav. And plus, I'm like, who pays Charlie Cox to be in the game and doesn't have him do the whole game? So surely, who would have thought that they gave him the axe, in the Act 1? So it's like the trailer never gave that vibe. It's just like they did a very sneaky job, and I got to give whoever edited those trailers props, because they always made it where it looked like all of them were together. Every single one of them. They never made it look where, okay, here's Gustav, everybody in the group is there, then another shot would just be just Verso with everybody. They always kind of kept all the shots separate when they would be doing like story beats. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Everybody's going to be together, so I'm going to have to sit there and pick between these characters they have in my reserve or whatever. And then they're just like, Gustav is dead. And I'm just like, I've been investing in Gustav. Who's going to take his place? Yeah, because Gustav was my setup guy. What am I going to do now? But how clever they were is that they pretty much made it where Verso was very similar to Gustav for the most part. Yeah. Same weapons, everything like that, except that the skills were a little bit different. Perfect. That's great, because oftentimes that one thing I don't like about JRPGs is that they will sit there and kill a character off, and you've been invested in this character, and then they're gone. And then you have to find somebody else to be your new tank or your new damage dealer, and no one can fill those shoes. I thought Verso sit there and filled those shoes very well. Plus, Ben Starr acted his ass off as usual. Verso was a great character, so
yeah, Clark did a great job.
Everybody might not get that one, but you have to listen to the other episode of BFAM to understand the Clark thing. But
that's right.
But yeah, man, that Gustav moment was just, like I said, that was pure cinema, heartbreaking cinema. Because I mean, the shock on Mael's face, man. They played the hell out of that. I would love to see behind the scenes footage of that moment, because
a couple of thoughts on that one. I wish, like Matt mentioned earlier, I wish I played it earlier, because on the Discord everyone talked about the ending of Act 1 was heartbreaking.
So you knew something was coming.
So I knew something's going to happen, and then there was an interview where what's his name? I'm dropping his name. The guy who plays Gustav.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah, Charlie Cox. So he's mentioned he's humbled why everyone's giving him recognition for only 4 hours of work. So I knew it's 4 hours of work. So he's definitely going to go.
Oh man. Okay,
that's too
lucky
bad.
enough I didn't see that. So I see. Yeah, that would have spoiled everything on that part. So yeah, I tried to keep everything about the Act 1 stuff and spoiler stuff, because I was like, well, if I say something happens at Act 1, everybody is going to be like expecting something to happen. Yeah, so I tried to keep that stuff on spoiler tag, because I feel that if I had known that something was coming, that wouldn't have impacted me the way it did.
Yeah, it was easy to add that up together.
Yeah, because my daughter sent me a text. She was so pissed with me because I didn't tell her nothing about it. Because I mean, to me, it's like, I want you to get the same experience that I got.
Of course.
Even my coworker at work, when she started playing it, she sent me a thing. She's like, "Man, this Gamache shit is fucked up." And I wanted to tell her so bad, like, you ain't seen shit yet, but I was just like, yeah, it really is. And I was like, don't say anything else and just keep it going. And then of course she got to the beach and she was just like, man, I don't want to play this game no more. And I was like, no, you gotta push through, keep going, but yeah, man, my daughter was so pissed because I knew it was coming, because she was telling me, she was keeping me track of where she was going in the game, and she kept getting closer to when she got to that particular area. I was just like, yep. So I'll be expecting this in about 40 minutes. So I'm sitting there. I don't know what game I was playing. I see the text come through, and it's like the crying emoji. I'm like, oh, shit. and so I see the text bubble going, and I'm like, oh, boy. And sure enough, she was like, Dad, why didn't you tell me about this?
Oops.
And I was just like, sorry, baby girl. I could not spoil that for you. She's like, I don't want to play this game anymore. She didn't want to play the game anymore. I was like, I'm sorry. You're going to have to push through, because now you've got to see how this goes. So just push through it. Take a break. Yep. Take a break if you need to take a break, and push through it. Because even I took a break after. When that happened, I was just kind of like, okay, I need to kind of just decompress a little bit. Because Gustav was my guy, and he was super cool, and he was, encouraging Mael, because Mael, man, she was pretty much a Debbie Downer from the time that you were
during the
Gamache. And like I said, it's fair. Everything that's happened to her, you got it.
Yeah.
But he kept kind of like being the encouragement, being the motivator. But even he had his moments, and Lune kind of had to sit there and kind of talk sense to him, like, get your shit together. We got a mission to do. Lune was very, like, props to her, because she pretty much was like the stone holding things together for a while, because by the time he runs into her, this dude has seen the Gamache. He's seen the team wiped out. This dude is like, we're not gonna be able to do this. Like,
we're
it's
over.
Die. He's like, I'm just gonna stay here and just die, because it's probably better just to die now. Lune was the one like, we have a mission to do. Get your shit together. Like, come on, get up, tie them boots up, and let's go. And she was like that, like the whole game, man. And it was it was very refreshing because, like I said, a lot of times with I hate it in RPGs and I hate it just in games. Period, where you have a female character and they want to present the female character as strong, but for some odd reason, they always have them just not. They shy away from letting them have leadership qualities, or they're always kind of sitting there and just the background character. They're never like strong enough to sit there and be the lead. But with Lune, she carried that group. You know, she was very much the one that was saying, like, this is what we need to do. I get that the emotions is there. I get that, you know, all this stuff is going on, but we came here to do this, that, and the third, and that is what we are going to do. And that was awesome to see. And they needed that because without Lune being there to and kind of power them through those moments, they would have never made it through. Gustav would have sat there, and I think he legit would have just sat there and just rather have died right there in that area where all those dead bodies were at. But Lune sat there and pushed that through, and she pretty much kept like that, which was awesome to see. Lune was a great character. She was really that stone for them. I don't know, man. All the characters had their place. Mael, she still had her, especially after Gustav died. Mael was really just kind of just all over the place, as she should have been, because the thing is that she was very much looking up to Gustav as kind of a father figure. And so, of course, him dying, and especially the way he did die, that messed her up. You know, she was carrying around the journal that he had. Of course, Lune was there for her, trying to, you know, keep her pepped up and stuff like that or whatnot. But Mael was very much like, yeah, maybe we are going to die here, you know, because she saw what happened to Gustav, and that was pretty much game over for her. At that point, she kind of just stopped caring. And then on top of the weird dreams that she was having, so she was going through a lot of shit. Mael was pretty much done for. But then Minoko comes along, and very much, I know people kind of felt a certain way about Minoko. But to me, him and Verso together especially brought a lot of comic charm and a lightheartedness to it, which needed to be done, because this game, like I said, this game is dark. I don't know, man. Not having Minoko and Verso be comical like they were, I don't know if I would have been able to sit there and do this game in mass settings. I would have had to chop this up into several different sessions over time. But they were very just lighthearted, the shenanigans and the bickering amongst them. And you could tell that they were longtime friends because Verso had been there for so long. And it was just funny seeing them just kind of, you know, everything that's going on. You know how serious the job that you got to do, but they still found those moments like that, which was cool with me. And then, of course, Ciel was there. And Ciel was pretty much just as I don't want to say she was mission focused like Lune was, but Ciel was about that business too. Like she had her emotional moments, but at the same time, Ciel was very much like, let's handle business. Yeah, this is messed up and everything and stuff, but you know, we gotta do what we came to do, because we have to save everybody else. So just great all around. Like I said, they did a good job of keeping things going after Gustav died, because a lot of games a major character dies and that's it. You know, you don't ever get that vibe back. It always feels like something's missing when that person dies. But I think they did a very, very good job of keeping the ball rolling. And they even did a tribute to Gustav afterwards, between like, what was that thing, like midway between Act 2, where they had a nice little area where they kind of like buried them and stuff like that and whatnot. That was awesome. You know, they handled that really well, and they kind of had a moment, you know, where they just let it sink in, like, yeah, man, Gustav is gone, he's not coming back. You know, so for anybody who was thinking that, oh, Gustav will be fine, he's going to surprise us like old Japanese RPG anime style, he's not dead. You know, he's going to pop back up and surprise us or save everybody. And that was their way of saying, nah, Gustav is not coming back. We're putting that to an end right now, and let's keep this moving. But it was a very nice nod to let him have his moment. Everybody has that moment of silence, thinking amongst themselves, and then like, okay, let's pick up and keep it moving. Yeah, they handled that so well.
I really liked that mourning part for sure. I feel like it was not just the characters were mourning, but it gave us as players a time to mourn, right? Because the game just kept going, right? just keep the story going, fast-paced action. But it's like, no, man, let's just slow it down. Like, just get in the feels. Like, you lost Gustav too, right? And I think I feel like the developers did it intentionally, like developed it in the way that like Gustav's your guy. He's probably everybody's main. So for him to lose him so violently, like it's gonna hurt. And like I said, like they could have just rushed through it, but I think just slowing it down just gets you in the feels. Because mourning's part of the grieving process, right? Before in order to move past it. So I loved it, and I don't. Hopefully, I'm not jumping ahead, but I'm very curious now because you mentioned like, the ending. What choices did everybody make? I'm very curious.
I made the correct one.
The only appropriate choice.
I mean,
We're already starting there. Oh yeah, I picked the right one too, guys. Sure.
The only appropriate choice. You side with Verso. Team Verso all the way.
I sided with Mael. I wanted to honor my L's choice.
Are we 50-50?
Yeah, it looks like we are,
Wow.
Quag. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. So, well, I want to hear from the ones who chose Mael. I want to.
Yeah, I want to hear from the ones that chose wrong.
Yeah. I want to
explain yourselves.
Even though, in all honesty, I can see why initially people might want to go with that, but we'll get into that after y'all explain like why you felt like going with Mael was the right way to go.
Dr. Florsamy, tell them why we made the right choice, please.
Well,
please.
The right choice because that's the only obvious choice. But apart from that, well, I didn't actually have the connection with Verso to begin with because he wasn't part of my main party. He was he was in the reserves, and
Fair.
so you have that attachment with Mael. And the other aspect also is she's choosing to live in the bubble. One thing which I did not understand or follow through was I didn't know that Verso will know that he's not the real Verso in the afterworld, when she recreates the world again. Like him having the original memories, I didn't think that he would be aware of that. That's that dark bit which I wasn't fully convinced. I don't think it would change my choice too much because he's just one casualty of that. But that also just
that was a dark thing, though.
Yeah, that ending was fucked up. But then
it was fucked up.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. We'll get to it.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
I think it's just that attachment of living in the bubble that we always want to escape to, right?
And that's a fair choice. That's a fair choice. Matt, you feel the same way?
I was looking at it from a parent perspective. That's how I was trying to. I wasn't embodying Verso or Mael. Just it just brought me back to spoilers for Witcher 3. It's an old game. If you haven't played it, too bad, so sad. But I was envisioning that same dynamic and being a parent myself, where it's like your child, this person is so adamant and so dead set on the choice they want to make that they're saying it's best for them. And as a parent, you're like, this is the wrong fucking choice here. Like, this is wrong. But at the same time, it's like, and I think back to when I was a kid, right? And my dad would say the thing like, you're so fucking wrong on this. And I would just say back to him, like, but it's my choice to make. It's my mistake to make, right? Like you're not letting me live when you take away this free will and protect me from whatever it is. And I would say stuff like, part of life is making a mistake and getting screwed over and going through pain or learning this massive life lesson from making and experiencing that mistake that's mine to make. And if I don't make that mistake and on my own terms, I'm never going to learn because I didn't get to experience it that way. Stubborn guy, that's me. But when I played Witcher 3 and it was really fucking hard to let Ciri go, but I was like, I can't. I wouldn't be able to I was embodying Geralt. Like, I can't live with myself if I force her not to make this choice. And I just did the same thing here. I'm like, this is so wrong. Living in a bubble, like and being a parent, I'm like, again, part of the process of healing through grief is facing the truth, right? Being sad and dealing with the grief and loss. Like, but living in this bubble with not the real Verso is not. You're never going to move past it. But just again, maybe it's just the way the voice actors sold it, but her conviction in saying like this, I need to do this. I was like, okay, I can't say no. All right. Even though in my heart, I'm like, this is the wrong choice. I'm like, it's your wrong choice to make. And yeah, oh boy, when you see the cutscene ender, I'm like, that's fucked up shit, man. This doesn't feel right at all. My God. But I was okay with it. Went back to watch the other one. I was like, this one seems a bit happier, but yeah, I still stand by my choice. Like I'm just that type of person where it's like, sometimes you have to make your own mistakes and live by it. And sometimes sometimes there's mistakes you can't even come back from. But and I am still just an adamant believer of like, but you really won't learn unless like I'm not gonna. I'm that type of kid. It's like I'm not gonna learn unless I burn my hand on the stove. Like it's just kind of one of those things, right? And listen, you might need to let me burn my hand here so I can learn, because otherwise, like, I'll never know. And that's mine. But yeah, the cutscene was like some dark shit, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
I saw that ending, and I was so glad. I was so glad I made the right choice. So, I did not want to choose, because it was one of those things where they gave you that option, and I'm just like, have you not done enough fucked up things in this game already? Why must this happen? But the thing is that I love Mayel. She was pretty much the daughter figure that whole game.
Yep.
But it was something. It was just something. As much as she was pleading her case of saying, "Just give me time. Just let me get closure on this. Only a little while." I never believed it, because I saw how passionate she was about even leading up to that, with the reveal of everything there just being a part of the painting. These were made up characters, and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah. She was very attached to everybody.
He really
and it's
was.
Understandable, because everybody that was a main character had great backstories, character setup. They all had some reason why they were there. So I got that part of it. But at the same time, I also knew that if I left Mayel there, she was going to end up becoming exactly what her mom was. Trapped in this painting, and this is where she was going to stay. I just didn't feel that was right. Verso's spirit had been painting this painting for eons.
Oh my god!
It was time to let him go and get proper. Just let this man rest. Let him. You got to wrestle with this. That this man is not here anymore. Everybody does. Whether it's Mayel, mom, dad, everybody needs to sit there and go ahead and just properly grieve this man's death and let this go. You can't keep Verso a slave to this damn painting anymore. It had gone past this, and Verso had a chance to end it there, because this man had been trying to get to this point for ages. It was time to stop it. So I had to go with Verso on this. As much as it hurt me to do that, because the pain in Mayel's Jennifer English is just great. That pain in Mayel, the whole time that she was just so upset about the fact that Verso was going to sit there and end this, boy, that was hurtful. But then it was also Lune's face when that portal was closing. Man, if looks could kill, Lune sat down, man, and I was just kind of like, God, Lord mercy. Thank goodness that daggers cannot really come from your eyes, because that, man, you want to talk about ice grilling somebody. She was done with Verso. CL seemed to be surprisingly at ease. I never caught a vibe off of her that she was upset about it. She seemed to be very, very cool with the fact that this was going to be over with. But yeah, man, it's just they needed really to. I get it. Look, the world is tough. I get wanting to stay in a world that keeps you away from all that real life stuff. But you have to face the reality at some point, and they had been running away from it for so long. It had damaged the family to the point where most of them couldn't even stand each other. They had to try to fix that. So, yeah, man, I had to go with Verso on that. And then I went immediately after that. I went and hopped on YouTube and watched the Mayel ending, and I was like, "Yep." I said, "That's why. That's why I didn't do it." When Verso, you could visibly see that Verso did not want to play that piano. And
he did not.
They did that pan to the audience, and Mayel's face was looking just like the paintress. I was done. And I'm like, this man's a slave all over again. I was pissed. I was like, no. I said, I am so glad I didn't make that decision, because she lied. She kept it exactly the way that she wanted to. And it's just, and Verso was just trapped again. So yeah, man, it was a tough choice to make. And as much as I joke about the Mayel thing being the wrong decision, it's a tough choice to make for anybody. I think if the game had told you like, hey, Mayel's lying and this is the way it's going to go, I'm pretty sure.
It's pretty easy then.
Yeah, I think people will probably, but I think it's good that they didn't give you that full reveal. They like, here, we're going to give you the choice. Mayel has shown enough where, you don't think that she's going to sit there and do it, but she might. And yeah, man. Verso just felt like the right choice. He just felt like the right choice. Some of those things just needed to get cleaned up. Everybody needed to face reality. And as much as I hated that those characters were going to be erased, it was just something that needed to happen. As much as I don't want to sit there and seem cold and say that those characters weren't real, but there's real things happening outside that painting that need to be addressed and need to be confronted. And that painting had to go. It had to. Cwagmire, what about you, man?
I think you summed it up pretty well. I mean, I felt just really bad for Verso, like the whole idea that, he was actually, the one that basically sacrificed himself to save her. And, basically this is her way of keeping him, kind of alive, but I guess not really. I mean, it's kind of confusing, but I just felt like he needed to finally have the, rest in peace that, he deserved.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember if I actually went back and watched the other ending, because you're mentioning the piano and with her evil look at the end. I may have to go back and actually watch it.
Man.
I don't know if
check it out, dude.
Yeah,
it's dark.
I might need to actually, because I don't think I did, or maybe I've already forgotten. It's very possible too.
It starts off cool. They do a good job of kind of fooling you because everybody's in the theater and everybody looks happy. Everybody's there. Yeah, so you're kind of like, okay, this doesn't seem bad. And then all of a sudden, you see Verso walk out. And you can kind of tell, like, Verso's like, I don't want to play this fucking piano. I'm done with this shit. Here we go again. And then you kind of like I said, man, he looks out to the crowd because you can tell that he's like, I'm not going to play this piano. Fuck this. And then you see Mayel's face, man, and she's like, I'm going to make you play that piano. It's just like, this is wrong. Like, yeah, this went completely sour like I thought it would. So, yeah, man, if you don't remember it, yeah, you need to watch that.
Go check it out. It's dark.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's why everybody jokes. Like, there are sides on the fence on this one, when people are Team Verso and Team Mayel. We were watching Foolish Fuji's stream. It was me, Antics, a few other people in there. And man, we were trying our best not to choose because we had been watching Fuya's whole journey. And it came down to that moment. And me and Antics, we were waiting on it. And when she chose Mayel, immediately me and Antics like, you chose wrong. we were having a riot in that stream. I mean, I can't remember if I don't think Sam was there. It was somebody else that was there with us, and they were like, "Yeah, she chose wrong on that one." Man, oh my gosh! But yeah, it's a very passionate thing when you can have people choose endings like that, and some people are perfectly cool with the Mayel choice. I don't know how they can be cool with that, but I guess they're just awesome with just. I love that world so much. I love those characters so much that I wanted to keep them alive. But you're cool with sacrificing Verso's happiness to do this. Dale will know that this guy does not want to be here and he's over it. But they're like, fuck Verso. I love Luna.
Luna's compelling.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
The old imaginations anyway, right? The old imaginary characters. So Verso's not real. So his pain is not real.
Yeah, So I guess it's one of those things where Verso's like the only one at this point who has his memories and knows what's really going on. So he's the only one suffering. Everybody else is like, yay, we're having a theater show.
Yep. Too bad, Verso. Suck it up.
Poor
being
fella.
so selfish.
Poor fella, man. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, I guess it's going to be kind of difficult to see if they do a sequel to this, they're going to have to choose a canon ending. So it's like
I'm pretty sure the Verso one is the canon ending.
It has
just
to
the way
be.
the cutscene is.
But then again, though, I don't know, man. I mean, Sandfall might pull a curveball like the Mayel ending is. And then,
can you imagine?
Yeah,
Mayel is the bad guy.
Yeah, Mayel had to be the
villain,
which I hope not. Yeah, because if Mayel plays the way I played her, I'm not going to be able to beat her.
That's actually not a bad idea.
So please,
that's actually not a bad idea.
Don't remember the Pictos and Lumina that we used for her, please.
Maybe they'll do like the Mass Effect, like where your character carries over, but like your build for Mael becomes like the final
No,
boss that you have
please
to
Oh, then
God,
I'm
beat.
fucked.
So
I'm
yeah,
dead.
I'm not gonna be able to beat her then if that's the
Yeah.
case, because like I said, virtual stance,
I'm in trouble.
Stendhal, it's over. No,
Story
thanks.
mode king for Ron then, because he made Mael too
Yeah,
powerful
that's
in the
not
first
gonna
game.
happen. That's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna
He'll
story
grind
mode.
his way. Doesn't
I will
matter.
grind. I will grind to level 999 if I have to.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes. No thanks. So you guys didn't do like any of the optional stuff. You just no, okay.
I think I did a little
Not
bit, but I
really.
definitely didn't feel compelled. I got to a point like where I'm like, I think I need to see the ending of this, and I can't really say why because I was enjoying it, so I can't tell you necessarily why. Like I think sometimes I get to a point in a game that I'm just like, you know what, I just want to see the ending. It might have been. I think that might be why. Like I think I did really enjoy the combat, but I think the story is really what I love the most.
Yeah, that's fair.
So doing a little bit of the side content, like, you know, all right, this is fine, this is good, but I kind of need like what's happening with the story, and I think I felt compelled to just see that through,
I get it.
rather than kind of 100%ing it.
And with the optional bosses, I mean, you would have had to like the optional bosses would have pushed you to see how much you actually love the combat system because you were going to have to level up to a certain degree. And it depends on the difficulty. I didn't go below normal. I know a lot of my friends did the easy thing because they thought it was pretty tough. I can't see you playing on normal and not going to level 99 and not investing in getting your picto builds and all that kind of stuff if you're going to go all the way for all the optional fights. I think you could probably sit there and get through maybe most of the optional fights, maybe just tinkering around a little bit. But I don't think there's any way in the world that you're going to beat Simon if you do not have a goal in mind for your characters, because Simon is a tough bastard. Yeah. So it's interesting that, because like I said, there's not too many people who, I think it was when I was talking to the captain, he had told me without, because he went for the platinum and he got it. I can't remember if he was on normal or easy difficulty, but he didn't really go into it. He was just kind of like, yeah, man, you know, that fight. And that's the way everybody pretty much left it. There wasn't too many people who really talked about exactly what Simon did during the fight, but they were like, I saw people online throwing fits about it. Social media was like, Simon is a bastard. And I'm just like, okay. I was like, how bad is Simon going to be? Are we talking about like Melania, you know, from Elden Ring, you know, kind of frustration here? Because if that's the case, I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be something else. But Simon, he dusted me off about a good damn maybe 5-6 times. I mean, he handed me my ass, and at that point in time, I hadn't died, I don't know, since like maybe Act 2. You know, so I was used to cleaning everything up in one go, and they kind of fool you because they went like full Japanese RPG with Simon. So you fight him. I wiped him out in the first go, and I'm just kind of like, oh man, this dude ain't shit. You know, what's everybody's problem? I'm like, maybe they weren't good enough or whatever, blah, blah. All of a sudden that music starts playing, and he gets back up, and you're just kind of like, what is this? And then he just goes completely ham. And I'm like, this dude just wiped me out, and I didn't even get a chance to get a hit in. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I tried it 5-6 times. I mixed things up, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know what I need to do with this guy. So it got to the point where I was just kind of like, okay, I saw somebody with like UCL. CL has this ability that blah, 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 whatever. I was like, all right, cool. Let me pull CL, blow the dust off, and use that ability. Have Versal just, it pretty much just boosted all and everything in the Mayel. Nobody else really did anything. All we did was boost Mayel up to Super Saiyan level 25,000. And when she sit there and hit him, she hit him hard. But that motherfucker still had a third of his life left. And I'm like, what in the fuck? And I could tell that I was like, okay, I have one more move left with Mayel, and this dude's going to go fucking crazy. So I was like, okay. I don't know if you guys used it, but Mayel had this ability where she would sit there and cut her hand open. She would go down to 1 HP, but it would like super boost her up, put her back in virtual stance and everything.
Okay.
Had one Stendhal left. I was like, if this doesn't get it done, it's over. But she was so juiced up, man, that Stendhal wiped his ass out and it was over. That platinum popped, and I was like, thank God. Because I was,
Wow.
I was like, I don't know how I was going to beat him at that point because this dude is crazy. But I think that the optional thing, if you that really will push your love for the combat. If you super love the combat, if you loved grinding, then yeah, the optional stuff I think would have worked out for you. In Quag's case, I know that you're not the biggest fan of like grinding like that. Like you can enjoy combat, but as far as like going overboard, that's not your thing. So I think probably going for the story probably was your best bet.
Yeah, I don't like that type of grinding.
Yeah. Good one.
Story was compelling. I have to admit, like even when I got to that part, it's like I'd be foolish not to kind of see this. I'm right there. Like I just want to see it through. It's very. I agree with Craig. It's hard not to want to jump and just roll credits. I personally didn't go back because I was on a tight timeline because I was like Requiem's coming up and I need to clear.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah, and I was getting a little worried. I was like, it's getting a little tight there. I think I only had like a few days left, but it's a great game. I love it. It's fantastic. I think if you haven't played for some reason, you've gone this far into our spoiler cast, like still play the game. Like it's fantastic if you haven't touched it for any reason. And even if you think it's hard, it's you can do it. That's what I'll say. Even if you're not
drop it down to easy if you got to. If you got to drop it down to easy to complete it, then go for it because I think the story is worth it. I would love to know how many people like didn't complete it after like Act 1 or stopped after Act 2 and didn't finish it off. Yeah, because I don't know how like I've played games before where I've gotten like halfway through it. I'm like, I don't know if this game is going to sit there and have a payoff for me that makes this worth it, and I'll stop playing it. I can't see how this is one of those games where somebody can say to themselves like, yeah, I'm not really enjoying this story, so I'm good stopping here. I don't know how.
Who doesn't enjoy the story?
There's got to be somebody out there. There's got to be somebody out there. I guarantee if I go to Backlogged right now.
There's at least one.
And I look on those reviews. I guarantee there's going to probably be a 0 or a 1 somewhere in there.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe it's somebody who doesn't like French people. Maybe it's somebody who doesn't like Japanese RPGs. Who knows? But there is going to be a 0 or a 1 in there somewhere because that is just how human beings work. But I don't know. I don't know how you could do it. Legitimately, I don't know how. If you enjoy storylines, narratives, I don't know how you could stop halfway through this game and not say, I don't care about how this ends. Because especially once you get the revelation after you beat the Patrons, like when things really get crazy, like what is going on here? I don't see how you cannot just go ahead right to the end. And maybe that's the reason why they purposely did it like that, where they was like Act 3, go ahead and race to the end if you want to. Because they know that people are going to like, because even my coworker was like, I really want to do this optional stuff, but I think I'm going to beat the game first and then come back and do that. Back. Because she was so intrigued by what was going on, she didn't want to put that to the side. I, on the other hand, was perfectly cool with like, well, I'm going to finish this game no matter what. But I'm here. They've opened this up. And I was enjoying the combat, enjoying my build so much that I really just wanted to push through and just see what I could do. I knew that ending I knew that what was coming for me. I knew I was going to have to go ahead and go there anyway, but I was perfectly cool with that. But I think that was a good thing for them to do, is not force you into optional stuff or do another crazy, like, hey, let's do another 10, 20 hours of Act 3. You know, because I was already thinking to myself, like, okay, I know there's 3 acts for this. After this, like, what more can come? And then that's when they kind of were just like, if you want to go to the end, go ahead. And I was like, I said, okay, this is a perfect way to handle it. You want to do optional stuff, that's fine. But you want to finish the end? You want to be upset all over again at the ending? Go for it. You know, because friend of the show, Max, he didn't like the end part. He thought he was pretty pissed about that. Yeah, he was pretty pissed about it. He didn't think it closed out well. I told him he was really. I didn't agree with him. I mean, I told Max, I'm sorry, you're on a spaceship for this. I don't agree. You know, but Max did not think that they closed that out well. He enjoyed the game. He loved everything about it. He absolutely loved the game, but he just didn't think that it closed out well. I didn't feel that way. But once again, that goes to show that video games can be quite divisive sometimes.
Interesting. I'm very shocked by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I did have one other topic I wanted that we haven't quite broached yet, if it's okay with you. Do y'all think this is worthy of being 2025's Game of the Year?
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Without a doubt.
I do too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It deserves all the flowers it got. I can't think of anything else from 2025. that's more fitting for the awards that it got.
Yeah. You don't think Donkey Kong Bonanza beat it? No.
I haven't played it, so I can't say. I'm sure it's a fun time, but like, you know, when you look and you think about like you said, I haven't even watched this documentary, but you're telling me it's like it's a hodgepodge, divine intervention. Like this is an indie game, first time studio. Like the fact that they have set a new bar for RPGs in this sense and storytelling. Like the bars are a little bit different in my opinion. Like this is a Nintendo game. You got Donkey Kong. This is like years of an IP. You got the Mario Odyssey team. Like it's not a 9 out of 10. Like you guys fucked up. But for an indie studio to set the bar with an RPG storytelling music, like unfounded, like unheard of. So
yeah, there was a lot of people that was online, man, that like social media was pretty pissed about the fact that this thing was like clean sweeping like it was. And I'm just like, if you played the game, I don't see how that really wouldn't have made sense that it was doing that. Like, I don't quite get it, but there was people out there that was just like, oh man, Donkey Kong Bonanza was so fun. And I don't understand this. And I'm kind of like, I'm all for fun.
I'm sure it's fun.
Yeah, I'm all for fun factor.
Sure it's fun.
And Bonanza actually looked like it was a fun game. But saying that, I don't always think that fun factor is going to be able to beat out a narrative-driven game.
There you go.
Especially a high-quality narrative-driven game. Like a game can, like I said, gameplay and fun factor can be, sometimes it can be a king for that particular game. But to win Game of the Year, I think you have to have more than just fun factor and gameplay going. And I'm no knock to Donkey Kong whatsoever, but something tells me there's not a high-quality narrative-driven story there. But there were people upset about that. And like I said, a lot of people didn't like the clean sweep and, oh man, it shouldn't have run this category and shouldn't have won this category. And, you know, you had indie people, upset, like, this is an indie game. And I was just like, is it not an indie game? It's like, so I don't know, man. To me, it deserved it. Every single award that it got, I feel that it deserved it. And I don't always feel that way when I see a game win multiple, different awards at any award show. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't know about that. This is the first time I was kind of just like, yeah, that was deserving. I don't see how it couldn't have won Game of the Year, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. No,
all right,
it's good.
Any final thoughts? We do have a few community questions.
Bring them in.
Yeah.
All right. So first question here from Jazzy. How do you feel about the side content containing large amounts of heavy lore? Quite a few of the big story reveals and character growth happens in completely optional areas, especially in Act 3. I know game devs need to find a balance of not making the game drag out too long or to upset the pacing of the game at times, but I'm curious how much of the side stuff you guys did and if how much or how little you did impacted your final thoughts on the game.
Well, you already know I did all of it, and I'm glad I did.
Maybe that's why you liked it so much.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the records and the things talked about the other expeditions, so you kind of got
those are cool.
Yeah, you got a chance to look into what the other expeditions went through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would have enjoyed the story as much without knowing that extra stuff. So that's one of those moments where I am glad that I pretty much do try to like read everything or talk to everybody in a game, because I'm big into world building. I love that kind of stuff. And I know sometimes because they don't want to take up everybody's time, they took that away as an optional thing for those who want to dig into that kind of stuff. And I'm glad I did, because it got a chance to really see what the other expeditions went through. And a lot of those expedition stories, man, were dark. A lot of people were like, so-and-so has died. I'm the only one that's left. I hear the monsters coming or whatever, blah, blah. And they go into that. Yeah. Or the expeditions team that was all like super jacked up, and they like broke and busted their way all the way to the end. It's like these guys
sad.
Are like super jacked, and they were just like, we're just going to break the wall down and go fight the Patriots. We're not doing all this fighting accidents and all this kind of stuff, because these guys were like just super badasses or whatever stuff. I mean, they still got their ass kicked, but you hear the story about these guys, and you're just kind of like, this expedition team is crazy. But that was really cool. I think in this case, I I think they did a good job of making that an optional thing and not forcing it on people because Quag is the example. He got to the point where he was just kind of like, you know what, I'm ready to see how this closes out because I'm really invested in the story. If they had forced Quag to like, hey, here's this other area that you must do for another 10, 15 hours or whatever stuff to learn lore, maybe Quag would have died down that story a little bit because he was being forced to do something like that. They did a good job of closing it out and allowing people to go ahead and finish the story when they did. All that stuff was there if you wanted to get into it. And I think that's always a good option to have. Don't force the lore and the world building stuff on somebody. If you can tell a good enough story and you can set up enough with what the characters say, what the main story covers, and you can get a glimpse of that world at least, I think you've done a good job of your writing and your dialogue and everything like that to be able to just say, okay, all this other stuff is optional. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Control. Because being Matt, me, Quag, we were pretty much on Matt's ass because Matt was like, "What are you talking about, guys? I don't read those memos." And me and Quag were losing our shit because we were like, "You better read those memos. Read every single piece of paper you run across because all that stuff has good shit in it." But that was just like, "Yeah, but I don't like to read. I don't like to read." So it's one of those things where, like, for people like Matt, this stuff needs to be optional. Tell him enough of the story for him to get the glimpse that he needs. We're like, yeah, this is a pretty cool world, and let him be able to enjoy it that way. But for all those people who want to have the extra meat on the bone, who want to sit there and dig into it and really get into this world that they created, have it as optional stuff. So that was fine with me. Even with the camp stuff, talking to your characters and getting to know their backstories.
I like that.
And the backstory stuff, some of the backstories, CL's backstory was great. Getting to know her and know like why she was there and what she went through. That was great stuff, man. So completing those character stories were worthwhile to me. So yeah, I thought all that stuff being available was awesome. I really did enjoy that.
I'm fuzzy on the detail here, but Ron is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm fuzzy on the detail, but was Mael's sister an optional boss? Did you say Ron earlier on?
Yeah, Claire was in there.
So I think that's the one which I think would have been better if that was actually part of the main quest, just in terms of seeing the family.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree because I was very surprised when I ran into her because going through I can't remember what area that she was in, but going through that world, I was not expecting to run into her. So when she popped up, I was just kind of like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what is she doing here? And then you have the boss fight and stuff and everything. And I'm not going to lie, I thought it was going to be a, like Simon level boss fight. Cause I was just like, okay, she's got all these extra enemies with her. I'm like, oh boy, it's going to be a gauntlet of enemies. This is going to be a shit show. And then, so when it went the way it did, I was kind of like, oh, okay, well that was it. So I was a bit disappointed. But then, like I said, when I talked to Kevin Ainsworth and Kevin told me about it, man, that fight was hard. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, maybe if I hadn't, juiced up my characters at that point in time, I would have got more out of that, by that time. But yeah, I agree with you. Claire being a main fight may have been better for them instead of them hiding that away. So I do agree with that because out of all the optional stuff, I really feel that maybe Claire.
Because she's the only one who doesn't have a full story compared to the rest of the family in the
And you get hints because, like I said, there's dialogue with her during that fight, so you get to find some things out, So yeah, man, that's a good call on that one because even as much as Simon was, there's a storyline with him and Claire in that you learn that through once again after you beat Simon. There's like a record there, and you find out about him and Claire, and you kind of like, well, damn. I don't think, though, that Simon should have been a main fight. That is something that you keep optional, especially with him being the true boss of the game in many people's eyes because of how tough he was. I think that would have pissed off people and probably had them not finish the game if you had him be like the real boss.
100%.
Or he was a gatekeeper to the actual final area. Yeah, that would have been horrible. So,
I'd have been upset.
Yeah. So good thing they did make Simon optional. But yeah, you find out that him and Claire have some ties, and stuff and everything when you beat him. So, yeah, like I said, Claire being a main fight, yeah, I could see that. But then again, I mean, I don't know. If I go off of what Kevin told me, he said she was pretty tough. So maybe they did right by keeping her optional. I can't speak on that part of it because that fight was a pretty much like a 3-hit fight for me. But to listen to Kevin said it was pretty tough. So maybe it was best that they kept that optional. But I think that there was some stuff said during that fight with the dialogue that I think that would have been good for her because, like you said, out of all the characters, you didn't get a chance to really get to know her much. And maybe that was purpose. Maybe that was on purpose. Maybe we are going to see her eventually at some point down the line in some way, which I hope we do. Because, like I said, I think there's a lot there for her.
Yeah, what I was going to mention earlier is that I was kind of thinking that there's certain things that they probably do need to make like required because like I'm a big Xenoblade 3 fan, but there's actually quite a few side missions that really should have been like required because if you hadn't done those, like you're kind of missing out on I think like a big chunk of the story. But it's you kind of also had on the flip side, Ron, when you brought up control. Like the last thing I think that anyone would want to have is like literally. I mean, I know we've been telling Matt that he needs to read it, but like actually forcing you, like you can't go into the next room until you like read all the memos. I mean, that'd be pretty awful.
Oh my god!
Especially in a game like that, I think it was actually kind of fun. Like you're actually discovering it, you know, type thing. So yeah, it's definitely a balance, and I would be curious, like if some of those fights were, or some of those areas like were required. Like if I don't think I would have quit, but I just kind of wonder if it would have like soured my, mood on it because like I want to kind of finish the game, and it's kind of making me do it, and maybe I don't find the payoff good, type thing. It doesn't sound like there's like ton of story.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Fights, like, right? Yeah.
When Samik brought up Clair, really to me, Clair is the only optional fight that I feel that they could have probably had a main quest fight for.
Yeah.
Mainly because it is Clair, and there is, like I said, there are things that she says during that fight and the cutscene, before or after. That cool. Now we get to see a bit more Clair, and we get a bit more understanding of her, and why she ended up in this painting that you're about to fight her in. That there. The rest of those fights are all strictly there for people who enjoy the combat and you want to test your character build. These are those kind of fights. Even going through the tower, that is pretty much just like a gauntlet of floors of you taking on all kinds of enemies that you've fought through the game, even ones you haven't fought yet, and they just throw them all together. That is strictly just testing your build fights. That's all that is. So as far as like if they had forced you to go through that, I think that would have sucked. Because like I said, if you didn't invest in doing builds and you just did enough to get by, that wouldn't have been. I don't think that would have been fun for anybody who was not looking for those kind of fights. Clay is the only one that would have made sense as the main quest one. So Sandfall did the right thing handling it the way they did, not forcing you to do any optional stuff, because I just don't see anybody who was there just for the story. I don't think that optional thing would have made any sense for them whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like I have no notes for Clair Obscur in terms of like the storytelling, and if there was for some reason like additional fights and stuff that I had to do and they had story elements that weren't pertaining to the main story, I still would roll credits. I still love this game. I think it would have thrown my pacing off a little bit, because I feel like I'm recalling my experiences. I felt like the story was just going 100 miles an hour and just kept going, and I wanted to keep it going. And I feel like if they added anything else besides the fact that male sister, anything else might have been detracted. Might not, again, wouldn't ruin the experience, but I think it would have been like, this wasn't necessary. So I'm glad. In this case, I'm glad this stuff was optional. It's just there if you want it. I personally didn't go for it, but if I wanted it, it's there for it's extra stuff.
I think if you got forced into those optional fights, I think that would have ruined it for you, to be honest.
Well, yeah, if you're telling like Simon, if what's your name, Clay, is that fucking hard, then I would have been like, yo, how much more grinding do you need me to do now? Like, come on, I'm already here at like 40 hours, buddy. Like, so I think they had the right balance in terms of like, this is enough for the game to be fun, challenging, and you can still see roll credits, so you get the payoff. anything else would have been like, you might need to grind a little bit or whatever. It's like, I mean, listen, some people want RPGs that are like 80 hours to roll credits, and it really depends. Like it's a very few
If
that
it's an
I'm okay
optional
with it.
thing, if it's an optional thing, like when things are optional, then it's a lot easier to handle. Like
There you go.
that's why I told you if Simon was a gatekeeper for that final area, I don't know how many people actually would have fished that, because there's still people who have not beat Simon, you know. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Quack, let me clarify. People who have not beaten Simon, that actually have gone to fight Simon.
Oh, gotcha.
There's a difference, Quack.
Well, I mean, the last 3 fights, like I think starting with that like horse looking thing, I actually had trouble. Like I probably had to redo those fights like a few times, and I was getting frustrated. I mean, I did finally beat it. I didn't, but I mean, yeah, that tells me that I was not ready for any of the optional stuff.
Yeah, the optional stuff, like I said, it's just there's just no story stuff there outside of the Clair thing. I mean, for those who want to like check it out, just go to YouTube and just look and see, you know, the Clair fight, because like I said, it's pretty cool. You know, with the things that she kind of reveals there. You know, so but outside of that, it's just that is the only thing that really, like I said, I feel that it's something that's like super important. Even the stuff with Simon that you find out with him and Clair, you know, afterwards and stuff. I don't feel that that's anything like, oh man, I wish they included this in the main game. It hadn't been optional. It's cool to know that there was something there and that Simon had a purpose, because by the time you run into Simon, you know, Clair has pretty much like changed this dude to the point where, I mean, he has like one fucking arm, you know, he's disfigured. But this guy is the hardest thing that you've taken on in this game. I mean, he is nasty. And I'm like, the big ass sword he has, thank God he only has one arm. it's like my God, you're doing this much damage. How bad were you when you had your other arm? Like, so it's like what? But yeah. Thank goodness that Sandfall knew, like, let's keep it fun for everybody. And like you brought up a good thing about it, like there was a certain pace to it. Like, yeah, you could slow things down at the camp and you could talk to your people at the camp and you had your little story moments. But for the most part, they kept things rocking. You know, they didn't, you know, slow things down too much. And you're right. If they had opened up Act 3 and then started forcing you to do this, and this before you went to the end, I think that would have threw like the whole pacing off. I think they knew that by the time they got to Act 3, people were going to be ready to like, oh man, all this shit has happened. I got to see how this ends, and just rush off, and then you could just come back and do whatever you want to do afterwards, which was awesome. They didn't do a thing where they locked you into New Game Plus. Like, well, if you go here, you're gonna have to play the whole game all over again to do all this optional stuff. They were like, no, you can just start right back at the bridge and get back to it, which is all games should allow you to do. If you're going to be open world or semi-open world, then allow people to kind of go back to the point of no return and be able to do other stuff instead of having to start over from scratch again or reload a save before that point.
Agreed. All right. Any other thoughts on Jazzy's first question? Spoiler that he has multiple.
He does. Yes.
All right. Fulia, got a question here from Fulia. Hello, friends. First time, long time koala. Did any of you go out of your way to talk to each party member at the campsite, or did you only focus on certain characters? Did you enjoy these little character development stories, even if they didn't really give you anything to help push the story forward? Not sure if this is considered a spoiler, but tagging it just in case. And we're behind the spoiler wall.
Yeah, we're behind the spoiler wall at this point.
Also, who did you end up romancing?
Quack, you should go first this time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm actually trying to remember. I think it was Lune.
Okay.
I believe is who I did. But honestly, CL could have easily been. They both were very easy on the eyes, as they say. How about y'all?
There's only one right answer here, right?
Oh,
come on.
There's only one right answer.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Please enlighten us.
I think it's Lune. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Come on.
No.
No.
That's not the only, no. There's no wrong answer. But that's not the only right answer.
SK could be a wrong answer.
Okay, that's true. That is true. There could be a wrong answer. That is true.
I respect your decision, because as Quack said, Lune is very smart, very good on the eyes, and she's intelligent.
She's fierce.
but she's not the only. She's not the only correct answer.
There are options in this game. There are options. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
There is. Samit, what about you, man?
CL.
My man.
And it's not because I do agree with Luna is actually easy in the eyes, but I think just in terms of the way the character development happened, the story flow, to me, it felt CL was the more appropriate choice.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. CL was my bae as well. I liked Luna a lot. Beautiful woman, intelligent, fierce, as Matt said. But there was something about CL. My weakness for women is women who know what they want. She is feisty, she's stubborn, and she's straight to the point.
Yeah, she's straight to the point.
Hey, I'm here for a short time, not a long time. Let's get down. You got the right guy. Let's go. Let's do this. But it's on top of the fact that she's also like her and Lune, their beauty is totally different. Like Lune is like just beautiful. CL is a rugged beauty. It's just something she's very different from Lune in a lot of aspects. But then the thing is that doing her character story and stuff, you start to sit there and see a lot more of that softer side of CL. Yeah. Especially when she gets into like what happened to her, why she is doing the expedition and stuff like that, man. And that was a major payoff for me. I was just like, this woman is fantastic. Like I love her. So yeah, CL to me was the only right choice on that one. If I had been given the option to only just date just CL only and lock out Lune right at the beginning, I don't know if I would have chose that because initially I was very much into Lune. But then CL ran into her at the arena, got to know her a bit more, her humor. Like I said, the fact that she's a woman that knows what she wants, no games with her. She just says it like yes, that's what I like. Instantly, Lune was an afterthought. I didn't care anymore. I'm going to finish my character story with her. But if Lune tries to have a relationship, I'm going to shut it down. Like, sorry. CL's the only one for me. Witcher 3 taught me a lesson. Nope. No, thank you.
That's right.
No, thank you. Unless Lune had told me that she was cool and we could just keep it a secret. but Lune's not that kind of girl. But yeah, man, the character story stuff. Yeah, the character story stuff was all. I thought everybody's character story was really good. It was great. Yeah, I thought everybody was great on that one. So I enjoyed all of those. But like I said, I really feel that in the end, CL I think had the best like character backstory. And it was a sad story. It was a sad story, but at that same time and stuff and everything, you got a chance to sit there and see that's what made her who she is. And the fact that certainly did make her stronger. That was, like I said, that was, God, I was not expecting that when she kind of got into that. So yeah, fabulous. CL was the only right choice for me, but I could see why people went with Lune.
No, I agree with you because I think by the start when you bump into Lune, rather she finds you, you think, oh, she's like in the right choice. She's the one like angel and it's come to save you. But then as you progress further, and to Fulia's initial question about the character backstories in the campsite, I felt that was required, not an optional, because in order to upskill your or rather level up your characters, you need those backstories. And to me, just having more conversations with CL, I think it's just the way I flowed those conversations. It just became the obvious choice, selecting CL before even getting to do I have an option or not? I think just CL was the only option at that point.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. It got to the point where I was just kind of just like, yeah, like, I don't know where we're going with this. I don't know if they're going to let me sit there. CL, I'm all in. Because she was just that great. She was just that great. But like I said, I could see why people would choose Lune, but I don't know, man. Like I said, for me, like you said, once CL, I got to get to knowing her more and more. I was just like, and her sense of humor. That was another thing too. Like,
she was quite funny.
Yeah, Lune's humor level was not on the same as CL's was. No. You know, she was. She wasn't. I want to sit there and say she was like a stick in the mud, but Lune was kind of somewhat serious with her humor. It was a little bit there, but not CL level. You know, but I think CL was best bae. Though there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, Folia, for that question. And then final question, and also Jazzy's final question. Hey, gang. Question number 2 for you. Expedition 33 clearly has some major inspiration from Final Fantasy and other older RPGs. First to come to mind are gradient attacks, acting similar to limits from Final Fantasy VII. Take your word for it, I haven't played it. And Pictos and Lumina system being very reminiscent of Final Fantasy IX's ability point system. Again, take your word for it, I haven't played it. How does it feel to see so much direct inspiration from Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IX, but absolutely none from Final Fantasy VIII?
Wow.
Personally, I think it was a great choice by the devs that Expedition 33 is better for it.
Wow. The shade.
To give context to the shade throw at Final Fantasy VIII, our man Dave was supposed to make it for this, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it. Shout out to Dave. Love you, brother. This would have probably got Dave. This would have got Dave riled up. this would have ruffled Dave's feathers, and Dave would have gone like on for 2 hours over this. I am not going to disagree with Jazz. The limit breaks and the gradient attacks, I'll give him that. I cannot remember too much about Final Fantasy IX because I think I dropped that about a third of the way through. And I can't remember much about that game. I plan on trying to replay it again, so maybe I'll agree with you once I get a chance to kind of refresh my mind on that one. But Final Fantasy VIII, yeah, there's nothing in there where any game needs to sit there and take inspiration from that whatsoever. That junction system was straight up chicks. So please, anybody who's ever trying to develop an RPG, never use that as inspiration whatsoever. Just don't. It's just other games out there that are far better. Hell, Sea of Stars is better than Final Fantasy VIII. So
wow, that's where the bar is.
There's no inspiration there for Sea of Stars, but I'd rather you use that as inspiration over Final Fantasy VIII. So there you go.
So you play 7 or 9? Do you see any of that inspiration?
I've only played 7 Remake, and that was a long time ago, and I can't remember what the overlap is. So no comment.
Well, you're like me. I forget. Like I could probably play this game again tomorrow, and it'd probably be like a brand new game. My memory, it's
good lord, good lord.
Damn.
I mean, it's why we record these things, because I probably won't remember what we talk about. When I
guess it's a good thing that we do record this. Okay,
mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. There you go.
You think we do it to try to get an audience, but no, it's just so that Cwaggy knows what the hell's going on.
Okay, well, now I know. I didn't know this either.
Yep. The more you know. All right. Well, Matt, I think you've played Final Fantasy VII, so maybe you can answer part of that. But unfortunately, I don't know if I can because I haven't. So, any thoughts on that?
I mean, like, yes and no. Again, it could be my knowledge and understanding of how limit break works. But and correct me if I'm wrong, but limit breaks is basically you taking damage to build up the limit gauge, right? And is that how it works in Clair Obscur? Is it you take damage to build the gradient? I don't recall.
I cannot remember off the top of my head. And of course, this is shit. I played this game back in June, so it's been a minute. But I want to say I think the gradient attacks worked up the more you did anything. I think damage-wise, attack-wise, but I think it took a minute to.
It takes a while to build up.
Yeah, I think you pretty much had to save. Your points for that. I think off the top of my head. So it is like
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, the limit break is a little bit different. Where limit break, you probably could use it a lot more often than a gradient attack. Because I don't remember using a gradient as much as that. So
yes, OG and remake, like it's about taking damage, and then it builds up your limit gauge, and then obviously to use different levels of limit breaks, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think the gradient attack may have been. Was that parry based? It may have been parry-based.
I thought it was parry-based, but you guys correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't remember.
And now that I think about it, you might be right. So Jazzy might be wrong on that. If it is parry-based, then hell no, it's not like the limit breaks at all.
I just remember in FF7 OGN remake, it wasn't like I purposely got hit to build up my limit gauge because then you'll fucking die. But if I did get hit, it's like, well, it's not a big deal because I know I got something saving up for later, and then. Depending on the level of my limit break, I can save this when I'm really, really in a tight situation. Whereas the gradient system, I don't ever recall being like, well, I got hit. This is coming later. I don't recall doing it that way. But again, it could be mistaken. But I do remember
any of the gradients. I never found any of them. I don't want to say I didn't find any of them useful. The only gradient I think that was like overpowered where it mattered was Mael's like level 3 grading attack. That shit was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one was crazy. And
but
the other ones
everybody
were
else's, when I would do a grading attack, I wasn't that impressed by it. I was like, okay, this is fine. But
I thought, yes, I felt the same way. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll use it. It's kind of something different. If I need it, then I'll use it. But again, it wasn't.
Mael's was good. I wasn't about to sit there and waste time doing that over not doing Stendhal. I mean, that wasn't happening. Stendhal was going to get used because that was a team wiper. So, So if it was parry based, then I have to take back what I said about agreeing with him on that limit break thing. But I cannot remember off the top of my head. But I'm starting to think that it may have been parry based, and if that's the case, then no. Final Fantasy VII, the limit break thing.
And I could. Again, I could be wrong, but haven't played FF9, FF8, still haven't played it yet. So
there's no
Shade
yet.
Deserve?
There's no
I don't
yet
know.
there. You
don't play it ever,
and you remove it.
Wow.
Well, you know
Never.
what? Yes, actually, play 8. I guarantee.
Oh?
I guarantee you won't play it more than at least an hour or 2.
Oh wow.
That junction system.
We'll get
trash.
past the tutorial. Eh?
That junction system's trash. I don't think you're going to enjoy that.
Oh
Damn.
boy, we'll see. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Maybe not.
Exactly.
There you go.
All right. Well, Jazzy and Fulia, thank you for the questions. Unless there's anyone has anything else to bring up with Clair Obscur, going once. Okay.
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, so mate, thanks so much for joining the show today.
Indeed.
Is there anything you'd like to plug, like social media? Anything that you'd like to?
Oh, thank you for having me here. Just genuinely appreciate it. And if anyone's looking for me, I'm on the BFAM Discord. Just look for me there. It's a very fun Discord, and the BFAM crew really looks after everyone. That's it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Yes.
I think it's pretty fun too.
Thanks, dude.
Same.
Actually, just one more plug.
Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
time traveling. I'm in the future. We still don't have the BFAM hoodies. Just letting you know.
Oh, there it is.
In time.
So,
In time.
yeah,
That's
it's
right.
in process. We've had some technical difficulties, but it is being ironed out.
Cool.
That is a pun intended.
Exactly.
Damn.
All right, Ron, where can people find you on the internet?
It's Foy Prime on all the things on PlayStation, Steam, Backlogged, Blue Sky, True Trophies, PSN profiles. I think that covers everything. And of course, the Discord. BFAM community is where I spend most of my time at, so you know where to find me at.
Ron, what
Nice.
are we gonna call PSN profiles when they take away the PSN moniker?
You know what?
This is a game changer.
Yeah, I'm not really
What are
sure.
we-
That's something we might have to discuss on the BFAM show, because they're going to take away
Wild.
that PSN tag. I'm like, well, what's PSN
What am I
profiles going to
calling
do? Because they've had that name since the beginning. So like, what? I guess we'll
Weird stuff, man.
TBD. I guess we'll see.
I heard it's gonna be PlayStation tags, trying to follow Xbox's shoes.
At this point in time, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, Xbox doesn't exist. Go ahead and just take the name. Fuck it.
All right, so PlayStation gamer tags.
There you
heard it
go.
here
They
first.
don't need
Could
it
you
anymore. It's
imagine?
fine.
Damn. Matt, where can people find you on you?
You can find me as Ngachacha in the BFAM Discord on Blue Sky. Don't forget, friends, BFAM's on Instagram. We're on Blue Sky and we're on YouTube. So make sure you check us out. And we got merch. Hoodies coming. Promise. It's coming.
Yes.
It's coming.
Yes.
Yep, it's coming
Soon. Very soon.
very soon. Again, I'm Cwagmire. The only place you can find me, and thank you so much for already plugging it. It's in the BFAM Discord. So come check us out, and you'll probably see all the shenanigans we're always up to. So,
Indeed.
all right. Well, you have just experienced a classified episode of the Brothers from Another Mothership podcast. BFAM, y'all.
BFAM.
BFAM.
BFAM.